I think yeah, please do.
Okay, when we last joined our investigators, two of us had ran off to go rob a grave and found a mysterious symbol and the fate of the previous doctor of the institution. The
And
other group,
friendship.
yeah, and friendship. The other group went off to look more into detail on the history of this institution and when it changed hands and how it went down this dark path. And then together, we found more evidence that the symbol has something to do with it and that there was something that was once sealed and the seal had been removed. And we think that, uh, out of character, we think that this seal is the key to all the events in the game. In character, our characters have different reasons for going along with this.
Right.
Um, and so now we are hoping to make our way to the site where something was sealed and to reestablish the seal as best we can with the knowledge we have before whatever supernatural thing that's happening kills us, as we've all had multiple brushes of death in the last session, including a gravekeeper possessed while a dragon looked on of some sort, and we kind of murdered him in cold blood,
Correct.
and uh, some other stuff happening. My character is paranoid and seeing things that aren't happening and is scared of graveyards.
Yes, you are temporarily insane. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Oh, that means that you get this. Let's actually do it for once. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, hit me with it. What do you got?
no. Everything is hard. That's the scream. There we go. There we go.
Oh, you're playing the thing. I see.
This is to signify. It's actually a good note taker for me as well to like remember who is temporarily insane.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
so,
I am temporary insane and have a phobia of graveyards in the house since Melissa, the research scientist, murdered a gravekeeper in cold blood.
so you are going to this hospital though to try to extract someone, right?
Yes, the ultimate goal is to get Jackson Elias out, but we think the key to it is stopping whatever's messing with people's minds and luck.
Because you recently was talking to another inmate, and they notified you guys that there's like weird cultist stuff happening that's going on in the full moons, and the next full moon is in a couple days, and they're gonna kill Jackson Elias.
Yes.
New moon, yes,
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
New moon. Sorry.
So it's super dark. Good. Thank you.
Play werewolf. Trust me to remember the moon phase.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, and I remember we had kind of concocted a plan last game to we had learned in our documents that the old disc had been shattered. And so we planned to cut our own stone and put the emblem as we understand it on that stone, and then try and transport it there and place it where it belongs.
So you guys are. So let me understand. With that plan, just to be clear, right? If this were D&D, your goal, your quest, is to attempt to save Jackson Elias. You guys are adding an additional thing, which is good, but just to make sure, like, putting a stone back with the emblem as you describe it is not your ultimate goal, but I agree that you are trying to do so. It's probably a good idea.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess, yeah, for whatever reason, we started to get into the how do we solve the big problem when really that's not our problem to solve.
I mean, as Call of Cthulhu tends to go, if you are aware of a problem and choose not to solve it, that's usually a pretty big sanity hit. However, you also probably might not be able to solve it. I'm not saying that in this case, but like that's how Call of Cthulhu goes. You have knowledge. That's the worst thing about you now.
Good. So we do know that if he is to be sacrificed, we think he's going to be sacrificed at this amphitheater, which appears to be like where all their hocus pocus stuff goes down.
And we think interrupting this ritual or otherwise interfering with it is our best chance of getting Jackson out, because us going through the front gates didn't work last time.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have a gun anymore.
Yeah, you hired Dr. John Lucas hired some. Yeah, they hired some thugs to try to extract an orderly. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the orderly who took my
gonna do
gun, who's
the
missing
order?
the ear.
Yeah, that specific orderly.
And he put up a lot of money to do that.
Right. So it's probably gonna get done.
So I don't remember where we like left off exactly. So where are our characters now?
I'm not. The last thing I had written was that we had paid for a very disappointing meal at
Yes.
Joe's.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's where oh, what's his name? That's where the other guy came and talked to John. That was like actually one of the last things that happened.
Yeah, and
Eli.
that's where we sat around to have a quiet conversation about occult things and what our plan was.
Yeah.
The
No
other
one was
Joes.
there.
Oh right, yeah, it's empty, so we can have a private conversation.
Yeah, that's why we went to Joe's.
And
I
all
just left Joe's.
and all of the food is disappointing.
Yeah, and then I wrote that we had paid for our food, and
Disgusting.
that was the last thing I wrote in my notes. So I don't
Then
know what we were doing next.
then I believe it was something like you guys are probably just a couple days out. I think 1 or 2 days out from the new moon, and we're all banding together figuring out what's going on with this new information. So we'll say that it's like midday-ish. I'm happy with that because it was like a brunch. That's when Lucas was talking to Eli and all of that. You guys just paid for your disappointing meal, and now, what would you guys like to do?
Rush to the hospital.
Rush to the hospital?
I
Seems like
think
a
not.
bad idea before the ritual, right?
So how do
I need to get in character, and not say this out
Yes.
of character.
Yeah, so if we approach this directly, then I don't think it will work well for us because last time we tried the direct approach, they contained us pretty well and prevented us from really even having a private moment with our charge. So is it our view that we would be able to kidnap him during some sort of period of transit or something along those lines? Because I don't think going in through the front door is going to work. But I don't know when he would be away from the orderlies, which are so readily able to overpower us.
So we find a way to cause chaos and get him during that.
Okay.
It's a mental asylum. I'm sure there's any number of ways to achieve that.
Well, I think maybe the simplest way, and the way that was less likely to hurt people inside, because once again, it's still a hospital. I don't want to cause chaos that will hurt innocents in there. Because Jackson is one, and who knows how many other people are not involved with events.
Mm-hmm.
We could, because they have a large outside area.
They do have a huge yard.
We could, at the end of the yard that's not near the ritual site, start a fire that wouldn't be near enough to the building to cause damage, but we could then call the fire department, and potentially that would create a distraction, but I don't know if that's a good idea, or will create the distraction we need. But
This
I'd
town,
like to try to cause a distraction that won't
does this
hurt
town have
people.
like a volunteer firefighting force, or is it like a legit firehouse?
This is Danvers, close to. Yeah, this is like a real town, so they have an actual firefighting force.
Okay.
My original idea was that we would wait for the lawyer I called, and that we would just get some police and go in there and get him out. But
They're not gonna.
I haven't heard back from the lawyer yet. So
Right.
Do you remember what lawyer you called? I think it was Gray.
I called the publisher, who said they knew a guy,
Yeah.
and then we didn't hear who that guy was because he said he was going to reach out, and then they reached back, and we haven't. I tried
heard
to
back.
contact twice, and we haven't heard anything.
I think you failed the luck roll. I think.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Right.
One of us needs to get on the stone. At least one of us.
So I understand stones and I can probably work with them, but I don't know about transporting it without being seen, because it's going to be a large object.
Well, it will be the dead of night on a particularly dark night that's coming up.
Will that assist us or harm us? We've been attacked in dark conditions just last night.
And we've been attacked in the light. I
Yeah.
don't think
But the thing in the
Find a
dark
way
was
made us.
certainly more scary than just the angry orderlies.
What attacked you exactly?
A
She's looking at Melissa.
a man possessed with a fervor I have not seen before, and eyes in the dark.
Oh, fervor. Oh, possessed by a fervor, yes.
I don't believe in your bunk still, sir. Everything you tried did nothing.
Okay.
Do you remember the photo I showed you?
Yes, all too well, and I'm not looking at it again.
Oh yes, yes. What is that photo of? Because no one else has looked at it.
Yeah, and it's not. She's not interested in seeing this.
But I've also seen photos from the Great War, and that also disturbed me in a similar fashion. That does not mean that whatever you have taken a picture of is
where
unnatural.
the man stood is a weirdly translucent shape. It is the shadow
Oh yeah,
the dragon cast upon the wall.
Yeah. Of presumably the person that he was possessing, and then his shadow, a translucent, translucent image. Yep, I remember now.
Regardless, there is a force here that we don't understand, and I don't think whoever's working with it understands. And their hubris in thinking they understand it is going to kill us all if we don't do something.
Is there anybody who has been outspoken against the asylum that we've noticed around town?
No.
Okay.
Yes,
no. The general feeling about the asylum is that it's good that it exists. It was better when Dr. Shine was the guy in charge, but he's gone. Berger is here, and he's not doing as good as Shine, and isn't that sad for those invalids? Oh well. That is the general feeling about town.
Well, I'm trying to think of distractions. So far, I have set a small fire, called the fire department. We could get some reporters, say something unusual is happening at the asylum. If it's a slow news day, we might get lucky.
It's true. It's true. I wonder about this amphitheater. The stone that's made out of, is it all like granite and stuff, or is it marble?
It was just.
Do you know what
it was.
Stone it's made out of?
It was granite. It was not particularly fancy or exciting stone.
Sure. So yeah, but busting up granite would be not easy or really feasible with this crew. She was thinking about maybe damaging it in some way to make it so that the ritual couldn't happen.
That is a supposition that the stone of the amphitheater is somehow important to the ritual itself, right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, just damage the site. If nothing else, break the.
We can't save Jackson, but we'll make it a bad party.
Right. Well, something to delay, a delaying tactic to give us a little bit more time. But,
sure.
I have an idea, but it sounds like a cheap dime novel.
Oh.
When the time of the ritual appears, we could just take the doctor's good car and drive right up to the site, grab him, grab Lucas, throw him in the car, and drive away as fast as we could.
You know, I like this idea, except the part where this always goes wrong through a supernatural interference.
I mean, this is a terrible idea for reasons beyond the supernatural. But it's just a terrible idea, but I'm grasping at straws here. I just want to be home with my fiance at this point.
I've noticed something about these feelings that we get. Mm-hmm. They seem to appear when we want to do something that when we strongly want to do something, it seems like something goes awry. Yes?
Yes.
I wonder if there is a way to have our friend spoiled in some way. Maybe he wants to die, and that's not good for whatever this ritual is. Maybe it needs to be someone who is maybe he succumbs to whatever this force is, and it doesn't want to kill a follower.
I'm gonna let everybody roll Cthulhu Mythos.
Okay.
Because there's definitely been some accumulation of that. It is very small though.
I have 0.
Oh.
Same.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh wow, it's this group. Wait, no, Melissa should definitely have at least 5.
Okay, well that's news to me. I will update it to 5.
I'm sorry, that's my mistake. If anybody who has gone insane due to this stuff has at least 5.
Oh,
Okay, I'll roll that.
Did I had the visions of the dragon thing, but I don't think that was like insanity. That was just like a moment of.
I think I'm the
Correct.
only one who's actually had a sanity breakdown so far.
Oh, she has 10. There you go. I'm gonna spend luck.
I'm just gonna roll this 5.
There it is.
Can I spend luck on Cthulhu Mythos?
You sure can. You can't use it on combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that means I'd have to spend 14 of my 23 that's left.
That's so bad.
I know. So that drops me down to 9. Yes, I'm mathing correctly. So I have 9 luck remaining.
You guys do the spend.
Another 3 to make it a hard success. Another 4 for a 1.
Sure, let's just go all the way. Can I extreme success with luck?
I don't think so, but I'll let you. It's fine. That sounds cute.
Got it.
So, like, as you guys
down to 5 luck.
Extreme success.
So, as you guys are sitting in the other Joes talking,
we're in Joe's now, still, right?
I thought you were at the other Joes because you're still talking.
What, the empty one?
Yeah.
The empty one is the original. Other Joe's.
Oh, you're right. You're right. My bad. Red Joes. We're not at the other Joes.
This man dishonored my name, so I gotta make another.
So we're at Joe's, and as you guys are discussing this, trying to figure it out, you have the realization that, like, ultimately you're supposed to get Jackson out if you can. Solving this mystery is superfluous. But as this is happening, and at one point, Chris was talking about how anytime you really want something, it seems to rise up against you. Melissa, like, does that, like, the world comes to a stop look and just, like, feels around her and understands there are other people in this town that have had that same, like, blank stare and just general frustration, and no one really seemed to give it much mind because sometimes, it's just how people look when they're trying to go places. It's busy. It's a part of a city, but it's more than that. For the first time, with, like, complete clarity, Melissa is understanding that this entity is enjoying the moroseness and just unhappiness of all things, and it seems to be pretty indiscriminate about it.
Festival. Viva.
Yeah, so
We relay this information.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of Melissa relays this information, and the point she tries to get across with it, other than what you just said, is that so that the target of the ritual doesn't matter because this entity does not care whether it's a follower or not. Is that what I was getting from that?
That is an interpretation. The target. There is a distinction between Berger and the entity. And everything that you guys have been dealing with has been mostly feelings and frustrations dealing with the entity.
Right.
Mhm.
and the entity enjoys negativity
Mhm.
indiscriminately. Berger's the one setting up the ritual, not the entity.
Right.
You know, it might be kind of a cool distraction.
A
Is
fest-
if we convinced the mayor or someone about town that the amphitheater should be the site for a music festival.
There's no way we're gonna get a music festival approved in
A last
how
minute,
much time?
last minute. This town needs a pickup, and we will go get some jug bands to put on a shindig or a hoedown, and we will create some merriment and festive feels at the amphitheater.
You know, I think that is a fantastic idea.
What if we perform our own ritual before they do theirs? If we satisfy whatever this is for Berger and he doesn't get his hands dirty, maybe Berger will give us Jackson. Maybe we can find a way to do that with less bloodshed and potential damage to everyone.
I think Berger wants Jackson dead because we've brought a lot of attention to Berger because of Jackson.
Yes. But
Remember, Andrew McBride is dead.
Oh,
Which
the,
was
the
the-
janitor builder guy thing.
Yeah, the other guy who was a patient there, who was let out to tell you that y'all need to leave, but then he gave you the extra information, which is that this ritual is going to happen.
yeah, and then the entity we believe that it was the entity that killed him, not Berger, because of the circumstances of his death.
Right.
Because when he was telling us that stuff, like bad luck stuff was happening, that was like trying to actively kill him.
At this
If I
point,
remember right.
the waitress comes over and with like coffee pot and like refilling everybody. Is like, does anybody need anything? Looking at all of the uneaten food.
How is the
it's
coffee?
delicious. Thank you.
Oh, everything is bad, even the coffee.
Yes.
I asked
It
her
is
very
both bitter
politely,
and weak. It is. It's,
Go ahead,
"Can
Ethan.
I please get a glass of water?"
Sure. And she leaves.
Could I get the recipes for all these delicious dishes? Do you
Those-
sell a recipe book.
those are property of the chef. But I'll get you your water.
Out of character, I want to see how this can go.
Well, a moment later, she comes back with water and it's got floaties in it. But you got to look really hard for them.
Well,
but you do because you know they're gonna be there.
Yeah, exactly. You only look because you know it's going to be bad, and you look real hard. So then you start to wonder if there's floaties in all water, and you just don't look at all water with as much like discerning.
Oh my God.
So while this is going on, what do we know about McBride? We know he was a patient there. We know he was their chief laborer, and he's the one who removed the stone.
And
Am
he
I
was
missing
also
something?
he
And he's
was
the one who
was
warned us.
wasn't he also the one that like helped build
Yeah,
the amphitheater in the
you
beginning?
you have a photo of a large group of people, probably the most able-bodied and able-minded. That is like the general inmate work force of the hospital, and you have a photo of him with Shine installing the
Right.
the stone at the amphitheater.
Right.
It's a group photo. Everybody's like thumbs upping and all that.
Yeah, so they installed it, but then he also was the one who helped remove it for Berger when they built the amphitheater.
Was he?
I don't.
That's under the builds amphitheater for patients handout.
Well,
Because
hot damn.
I'm reviewing everything right now.
So,
Because I imagine my character's like looking through her notebook, trying to like make connections from what she just learned
are
inside
we
her
going
head.
all in on the festival, or are we
I'm-
ditching our stone making?
Well, even if we distract Berger, that doesn't. We have to distract this thing as well. They're
That's
separate
that-
forces.
That's what I'm getting at. Is that if we do a festival, for the patients put on by, members of the town or what have you, that would distract Berger because he would have to keep his eyes on all these people that are suddenly in his grounds. And it would also distract potentially the being because people would be having a good time drinking punch and things.
I gotta say, I've run this a couple times and this has never come up, and I like it.
And perhaps one of us or two of us could slip away. Or find a sympathetic orderly.
When is the ritual?
Heck, I bet we could sneak in the stone at the same time.
I don't.
Oh, potentially.
I'm gonna say it's like in 2 days, tomorrow and then the next day.
Right.
Now,
At night, probably, right?
Think about
that's right.
New moon, yeah.
Yeah.
we move in the stone at the same time as the festival. This isn't just any stone. This is quite a decorative piece.
All right. All right. I mean, I've looked through the notes that we have. I don't see any particular notes about its construction other than approximate size and placement of this emblem. It would take me maybe more time than we have for me to construct such a stone.
Are there any stonemasons in town?
Sure.
I don't have the cash to hire one. Do you?
Most of the cash that we had went into hiring thugs.
I've got a. Oh no. I know I had some money. I've got a good $10 on hand.
So we are now approaching like, we started this at like brunchish. We're approaching like, I feel like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. I think that we need to be. I think we should just give up on the stone. I think that that's going to be a lot of effort and a lot of time, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong with moving a big disc and then placing it wherever it needs to be placed. At this point, I think the fire is viable. I think some other form of distraction is viable.
Can we use the symbol in some way?
It's not about using it or not. It's about making it. We don't have one, so we'd have to like make it, and we only have so much time. And I've got to source the stone, clean the stone, cut the stone, polish the stone, put in
We
the
have to
emblem,
figure out how to transit it.
and then transport the thing. And I'm not, transport it without it being seen. It's bigger than a tire. It's a large thing. So I think we need to give up on the stone. Sorry.
I think we can bring I think we can distract Berger with a fire and then calling emergency services, and we can say that there's both a fire and inmates trying to escape, and that'll get both the police and the fire department there. And then we have a getaway vehicle, and we try to grab Jackson and get out of there. And we'll try to figure out something to distract the entity, quote unquote, with the dragon.
I was thinking another thing, if we involve the police, what if we draft papers that our charge is not that Jonah is not insane
Jackson.
and is of sound mind. Oh, sorry, Jackson.
The issue is I don't know if they're going to believe us out of towners when we couldn't extract him in the first place when he clearly wanted to be out.
What is your guys' like general base of operations been? Other than what phone number did you expect the anyone to call
Probably
you
at the
at?
hotel.
The
right?
hotel.
The hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I've been trying. I tried to call both times we were back at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I failed a luck roll each time. So
You're gonna fail him at the now.
you don't know that I could still get it. I did it last session.
Okay.
All right, well, let's go to the mayor.
To see if we can get Jackson out using the mayor. That might work. I'm not good at talking to people. Is that what you two are doing? Because I can go try to do some last minute research or something while that's going on.
That's a good point. I am maybe not the best at getting grants funded, let's say.
I wouldn't be a geologist if I would.
I have assistants for that as well.
Yes.
Knowing glances around the table.
Yeah. How can I say I don't have good persuade without saying I have a persuade of 10? Instead, I must say I'm not so good at getting grants. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, if we can't
Role playing.
yes, if we can't oh goodness. Looking at abilities. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think appealing to some form of authority is the right answer. I think the fire department is valid. I think the mayor or police are valid. We just need to pick one.
I'm gonna go back to the hotel, I think, folks, because every other time I tried to call to get a hold of our contacts, it's been at night when we gotten back, so it's the middle of the day right now. I
Okay.
feel like that's my best bet, and then I'll meet up with you. Where do you want to meet up?
Let's just all go back to the hotel.
Okay.
So we're all leaving and going to the hotel. Everybody good with that?
Yep. Yep.
We all leave and go to the hotel.
Yes.
All right. I get to my room and I try to call the publisher to get a hold of.
I will give you 5 luck if you can tell me the name of the publisher.
Oh, I know this. Jonah Kensington, right?
Get yourself some luck. Good job. Thank you for knowing. That's an important name. Metagaming. It's fun.
It was easy to remember because it's like Jane Jonah Jameson.
It is true. Sorry, side note. Did you guys watch BoJack?
I do.
I haven't seen the latest season.
Do you know BoJack's publisher?
The Penguin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how I think of him.
Nice. That's
I
awesome.
So you call.
I fail.
You what?
You rolled it 25.
No, it's good. You called in the middle of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, you call. And then after a couple rings, he picks up and he says, "Hello, this is Jonah Kensington at the publishing company." I don't remember the name of it right now.
Hi, Jonah. This is it was Prospero House Publishing or something like that.
Yes, Prospero House Publishing. Thank you.
That's it. Hi, Jonah. This is Melissa. I called you a few days ago, asking if you could get a lawyer out here to help us kind of get Jackson out, because Jackson is in fact sane, but he is being mistreated.
I figured that was going on, and you can't get him out. And you've talked to whoever's in charge there.
Yes, and they seem unwilling to budge. I believe they think it will politically look bad for them.
Okay. So here's what I was able to do. I was able to get a hold of a lawyer who owed me a couple favors. His name is Bradley Gray.
Uh-huh.
And he really doesn't want to take on this case, but if you're telling me that there's no other way to deal with this, maybe I should have got a hold of him in the first place. But so you're just trying to find, like, what do you need from a lawyer? Trying to draft something from him, or because it would take a while to get all the way out there.
Well, yes, we're gonna probably need to draft some papers, and we're gonna have to probably do it quick, and we might need him to come out here, or someone local he trusts to serve papers in his stead or something, because we, through our talking to people, have reason to believe that they're going to do something experimental to Jackson in 2 days' time. And the other day, they just had a death there under similar circumstances. So I'm worried for Jackson's safety, Jonah.
I did not know they were going to experiment on him, and I'm sure neither did he. Okay, sure. Let me call Gray. I know that he has an appointment with Erica Carlisle at the moment, but I'll see if I can get him out there, and then this is my last string I can pull.
We appreciate it, and we're doing all we can on our end.
Thanks, guys. And then he hangs up.
Okay.
So I feel like, is there anything else you guys want to do before, like, because it might take him a while to get out there if he comes. What all?
I have
Do we have
something
a
I want to do in
backup plan?
character, but I don't want to like steal another scene without giving other people a chance.
Well, that's very polite of you.
Do it.
So my character had the realization that this entity is drawn to misery, right?
Sure.
other
Yeah.
negative emotions?
Yeah.
Okay. If I start like reliving all the miseries in my life, do you think I could make contact with this entity?
Yeah.
What if he broke a man's femur in an alleyway?
I think something would
I'm
happen.
trying to think how a deranged scientist at this point would think, and my mind says they would try to communicate with something they don't understand.
I think
as, like one of the first steps.
I think you're convinced. I think Melissa is convinced that she would be able to do so, particularly because she is currently insane.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. I don't think it'll work, but I think that's what Melissa would try to do, would try to come up with a logical, reasonable set of experiments to make contact with this entity that involve potentially self-harm, emotionally or physically.
Okay. I do think that Melissa believes that she would be able to do so, somehow, some way. With that premise, she does believe that she would be able to do so. What does Chris and Max want to do? Because it sounded like Bradley Gray will be on his way. It's just gonna be a bit. The lawyer from out of town.
I'm no smooth talker, but we do got to talk to the mayor if we are to implement our plan.
Yep. Yeah, I think because fires are fast and don't require a ton of planning or effort. Chris wants to try to put on some kind of town pick-me-up celebration. Preferably on the grounds of the asylum, but potentially nearby.
Yeah. Okay, no, I get that. So you want to go talk to the mayor?
Yeah, I think they're the ones that could ever hope to make something like that happen.
So it's like, let's say, about 3:00 at this point, and you guys know to go to the municipality building, which is easy. There is like a placard which directions to go to different places like the archives and stuff like that. And one of them is to go to Frank Salazar's office. Salazar. And he is presumably the mayor, and as you go towards his office, there is a receptionist.
Excellent.
And as you guys approach, she looks at you all and goes, "Hello, how can I help you?"
Hello, and Chris will try and be charming and compliment the receptionist on her hat or her brooch or whatever she has. Oh, that's a lovely rhinestone brooch you have there.
Oh, thank you very much. I am a Pisces.
Oh, this I can see it in you. That's wonderful. I'm a Aragorn, and so would it be possible to speak with the mayor?
Do you have an appointment?
We don't. We're visiting from out of town, and we've been kind of taking in the town a little bit, and I wanted to see if the mayor would be interested in a proposition and an idea that we've had. Something to help boost this town's spirits.
He is about to go to an early lunch, so if you wait just a moment, he'll probably be going out, but I can't squeeze you in for an appointment, but he has to leave.
Okay. Well, you have been most helpful. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you very much. Also, you look great too.
Thank you.
And then it
Little,
just,
little micro curtsy.
yep. And just a few moments later, probably like 15-ish minutes, out one of those doors that has like 1920s style frosted glass, so it's actually just like yellowed.
Right.
Yellowed single pane, you can hear it rattle. It's got his name on it.
Mm-hmm.
It opens from behind the secretary. I assume you guys are like at sitting at chairs in a waiting room sort of deal.
I think she would be standing.
Sure. Point is,
You know.
point
Yeah.
point is like in the reception area.
Right.
And
Yes.
a man with a suit jacket, a fairly large man, not like morbidly obese, but definitely plump, comes out. His suit jacket doesn't fit him quite right, and he's balding, and he's got like a comb over. And he comes out and he begins to leave. And he notices
Excellent.
all of you. And
As soon as she sees him, she's gonna like demur a little bit and then say, "You didn't tell me he was a man of substance, Mister." And she's gonna be kind of like kind of coy, like kind of shy. And I'm sorry, his name again is
Frank Salazar.
Salazar. That's right, Salazar. She says, "Mr. Salazar, are you perhaps able to walk and talk? My name is Christine."
Melissa and Chris may roll appearance here.
Oh, am I with them in this scene?
Are you?
Oh.
I assumed you were. I assumed everybody was
Troy.
here. Is that not true? I'm sorry, my bad.
Croy, it's 1920. Come on. Allow me.
I have an
Damn.
idea for.
I'm
scene
hoping
that
for
could be going
charm.
on
I'm hoping to
alongside of this.
charm the shit out of this guy.
I figured.
Okay.
Was everyone? No, Ben's not here, so Melissa's not here. Did you go, Max? I'm sorry.
Oh, for appearance? I was kidding.
So you are at the mayor's office, Max? Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then Chris rolls appearance.
That's an appraisal.
Oh, what? My apologies.
It's in characteristics.
He's not a rock.
Yeah.
Oh, characteristics. There
How
we go.
much is this man
Boom.
worth?
Oh!
Oh, critical.
What are bones but young rocks?
A lot of unwelcome attention.
He looks Chris up and down and goes, "Well, I'm out to lunch and I'm happy to take you to lunch. Yeah, your friend can come too, I guess."
Oh, thank you. And she hands her purse to Max. Like, and Max, she'll give Max like a little wink with the eye that's not on Salazar's side, is like a go along with this
Right.
type of scenario where we got this in the bag.
Max begrudgingly takes your bag,
Sweet.
and the money may be within it.
Shit, how much money do
All
I
right,
have?
so I got to roll cuz I don't know which is funnier and which is more silly, but I'm definitely I'm just going to go with this. Right? They gave me a roll, I believe. It should have 47. Yeah. All right. So he looks at you guys and goes, "So you're out of town, right? All right, then you're going to love this place. You're going to love this place. It's the best place to eat. Let's go to the other Joe's.
No.
Let me treat you."
Okay.
The other Joes. That's so interesting. I've been to one of them. I can't quite recall which.
Were there people there or were there people not there?
There were people there.
Then you went to the other Joe's. Joe's has been around longer, but he and I had a falling out, and ever since then he left town and left the business to his family, and they can't cook for shit. So
Oh.
that's
not only a man of substance but of power.
He's feeling himself as we all go to the other Joe's.
Good, excellent. Oh, that's perfect.
He slides into a booth. The top of his gut is touching the table.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, she will sit appropriately. I don't know where is appropriate in 1920s, but she will pick that spot.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yes. And we'll begin to ask him a little bit about himself. So, tell me, how did you become mayor of this fine town?
Well, I've been reelected several times.
Oh.
I only have a couple opponents, and there's always one person that always runs against me. I've had a couple opponents here and there, but Harry Whitehead has always been the person who runs against me. But I beat him every time. That's because I have the votes of the more popular and powerful people.
Oh, such as the perhaps this asylum that I've heard so much about.
Danvers.
Mm-hmm.
Danvers does bring in some government funds for appropriation. It is it's not doing so good anymore, but it's a needed thing, and having it is good at all.
Of course, of course.
And he just keeps
I
talking about how like
wanna-
he's always lived here and all of that.
Perfect. Yeah. All my family's been here for generations. Rada.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Cool. Well, when there's a break in his life story,
Yes.
which she will be interested in as she can be, when there's a break, she is going to say, "So I wanted to provide you with an observation as an out-of-towner. I have observed a thing, and I think I have come up with the solution, and I wanted to get your take and potentially buy in."
Very
The
well.
town seems, as well as it is governed, it seems that the people are perhaps a little without merriment. They go about their tasks, their daily duties, but the spark of joy is a fleeting thing, and I think I have an idea on how to provide that.
As you say that, he kind of like sighs and bows his head. He's like, yeah, this it used to be a lot more. There used to be a lot more enjoyment around here lately. I'm sorry to hear you say that as an out of towner, and that's something I've been trying to figure out what to do with.
Well,
Go ahead.
We've got a proposition for you, and it would certainly help your image. I don't know if you know, but I am a reporter myself. Of course, I show him my beautiful camera that I always have in hand.
Yes.
And we were thinking about hosting some festivities. And my dear friend will regale you with the full scope of these.
Exactly. I think it would be a capital idea to make use of that beautiful amphitheater over at Danvers.
He like slams the table and the silverware rattle. And like, I've been telling Berger that for years.
Well, let's just make it happen. This is your town. Is it not?
He takes a big old bite of his BLT, and you hear the lettuce crunch. And he does like he does that thing where like he's not just nodding, but he's like leaning into the nod
Enthusiastic
as he's
yeah.
chewing his BLT and his hand on the water on the other side. It's like, yeah, I've been telling Berger that for years. He's got a beautiful amphitheater. Shine now. Now Shine was a great guy. Shine, he led us up there. We had festivities. Do you know that them invalids can make crafts?
I had no idea.
They can.
So many good things about Shine. It does not surprise me that you had a crafts fair, it sounds like.
We did. And, they're never useful or good, but it was sweet seeing what they could do up there. But then Berger shows up and he puts an end to it, and then his not his performance really. Like I can't speak to him. I'm no doctor. So I just, figured things were on a rough time, but man, I am troubled that we have not been able to use that amphitheater. Did you know that I got that amphitheater voted for in my ticket? I helped Shine make that amphitheater, and I haven't been able to use it since because of Berger. Yeah, no, let's do a thing.
Berger is quite a grumpy man.
I'm no legal beagle, but I would think that if the town helped fund an aspect of that amphitheater in any way, or at least permit its existence, that would give you a certain amount of latitude in this matter.
I
so that you-
agree. But did you see the newspaper this morning? They just had someone die. Trying to get people up there nowadays makes them all sad and depressed.
Well, perhaps a celebration of
A
that person's
transfer-
life.
A transformation of image.
My understanding is that this person was a rather liked individual, and we should celebrate this person.
Yeah, Andrew was probably the most lively and level-headed of all the invalids up there.
And why not? Why not give Andrew the send-off he deserves with a modest festival on his home ground at the amphitheater that he helped build?
You know that he has family in this town? And Berger didn't even contact him?
That is a shame. That is a crime.
He slams the table again.
A crime
Silverware rattling. Everybody looks over and is
She
like,
picks up her drink so it doesn't slosh.
yeah, like he lifts up his hand. She picks up her drink at the same time. That's right. We're gonna have maybe not a funeral. That's too depressing. But we're gonna have in memoriam of Andrew McBride. That's what we'll do. I'm gonna tell Berger that's what we're doing.
Well,
And-
I think we should get the whole thing together. Let's get some music. Let's get his family. Let's make it something let's make Berger an offer he cannot refuse.
All right. So what are we thinking? Like next week?
I'm thinking tomorrow. The man died yesterday.
And then he takes another giant bite of his BLT and starts rocking his head.
Yeah.
This thing completely finished yet?
he's got
Those like subways that just
Two
keep
bites.
going. As much
Yeah,
as he
he's
needs,
got like
he's
the
got.
cartoonish corn on the cob. He's just
Yeah.
counting.
There's like 3 people just off camera that are assembling
Yeah.
more sub as he
I know he's good for it. So yeah, she's gonna try and sell him on the idea that we need to do this now because he just passed and the time for a memoriam is right away when the feelings are fresh.
You know, the town has been really down lately. Yeah, we should. I agree. I'll give Berger a call and let him know that we're coming. Now he's going to be real unpleasant about it, and there's not much that he's going to give to us. So that we're going to have to figure everything else out. And I know that you're out of town and you don't know people, and I can handle that. But I want to say thanks, Chris. And who are you, Max? You're cool too. Thank you very much for giving me this idea.
And Max will be
character.
sure to make sure that your image is in the papers.
David, out of character, I'm considering to greed here. We could try to convince him to get the stone made and brought there along with the
Let's stick with what we've won. Let's stick with what
No.
we've won.
Yeah,
Get greedy
and then
now.
he goes, Max, you're a reporter. No, let's make this happen right now. And he like scoots out of the bench, and he's like, Chris, come here. And presumably Chris gets up.
Sure.
And as he's shaking her hand, doing that like politician hand over hand thing, so that he's still winning.
No
Max,
matter what, he's always winning.
yeah,
yes.
Max is gonna give him a picture.
Yeah, he gives him a great shot. He gets ready. Max gets in a pose, perfect positioning, and takes that snapshot.
Awesome. And there's like tons of patrons in the back. A couple people are giving like a thumbs up because they're like, "Yeah, let's do a thing." We ain't done a thing in a while.
Let's rally some people.
Why don't you announce it to your town, Mayor?
Well, then I will get in contact with you you fellows. I'm gonna need that picture from you so I can get it into the evening paper. And where are you staying? How can I reach you?
We are just over there at that lovely little inn.
Perfect. Then I will reach you. He like he grabs the other half of his BLT.
Yeah. He ate that BLT in 3 giant bites and still has half to go. I want to say those are the only bites he's had because he's listening. And he's like, oh my God.
Before we go,
Yeah.
Max inspects the water. How is it?
There are indeed floaties.
There's no floaties?
There are floaties. It's tap water.
Oh.
All water.
Max is now suspicious for life.
And now Max is now
Sanity.
yes, exactly. I was actually going to say Max is going to lose 1 sanity now that he feels compelled to actually look at the quality of all water around him.
That seems
Wait,
really
are you
fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Go put in your.
You can't
where
do
is it?
that.
Ideology and beliefs. Ideology and beliefs. All water is now suspect. Compulsion. Must inspect all before imbibing.
He drinks
I
it
think this is a
down.
great
This
take.
man
Or
is
maybe
a
in
war
phobias.
veteran.
Maybe in phobias.
He's drunk much worse. He's been in the war.
Well, no, you're having flashbacks about like, is all water like this? Is this how my life has been up to this point?
My whole life has been a lie.
Maybe
Max
he's
shrugs.
only drinking brandy rations and stuff from
Picks
the
it
war. You
up.
can't trust water.
And he takes a good sip.
You can't taste the floaties, but in your mind, you know they're there.
That's greatness.
All right, what has Melissa been doing this whole time?
Sure, I've thought of what's happening, and if it's okay, I'm gonna do this in like third person narration because I don't think I have the fortitude to do it in first person.
Sure.
Okay, so the camera in the scene pans in through the window, and Melissa looks slightly disheveled, and she has a bunch of different notes like out on a desk, and she's just circled like emotional misery, like that she's written in bold, like on a piece of paper a bunch of times. And she's wringing her hands, and she's wringing her hands around a pocket copy of her fiance's manuscript of the only set of poems he got published from Jonah.
Mm.
So the only thing that got set. And as the camera keeps panning, there's a Bunsen burner lit, and she puts the book of poems on the Bunsen burner, and it starts to smolder and burn.
Where is she? Is she like sitting on her bed or at a desk?
She's at the desk in the hotel room.
Okay, yeah. As she's bringing the note, the manuscript closer to the Bunsen burner, she gets the feeling that there's like someone on their knees next to the desk with their elbows on the desk, just like watching.
Yeah. Well, then they're gonna like this next part.
Yeah, I bet they are.
As this starts to smolder, she, you see in her other hand that she has the phone open, and the operator's just connected to her. It's to her fiance, and she starts to break off their engagement, and she tells him that she's been cheating on him, that she's never liked his work, like all these like terrible lies, and that the only reason he got published was because she slept with Jonah and bribed him to publish his work, and basically destroying every foundation of their relationship they've built up over the last few years.
She's actually a psychopath.
And she's looking more and more distraught as she does this, as she's sabotaging like the core thing that's been a positive change in her life from kind of the dull, like straightforward, only focused on her work person that she's been, until, by the end of it, they're sobbing on the other line of the phone, and she just can't anymore, so she just says goodbye and hangs up, and then starts like just kind of shivering and shuddering and doing all she can to not like break down herself, because she like feels this thing watching.
Obviously roll sanity. Let's do a d6. I mean, you're just roll a d6. You lose that much sanity. You don't get the opportunity to not.
Yeah. No, this is I spent a while thinking about what would be the most destructive thing to Melissa that she would do.
You lose that much sanity. You also gain 1 more point of Cthulhu Mythos because you send yourself into another bout of madness.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, you're temporarily insane. I don't know if I fully explained this. In Call of Cthulhu, if you were insane and then you suffer more madness, you have another bout of madness. So let me pull that up really quick.
I'm gonna get more water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. This is Melissa.
Because and to like set up the scene a little bit while he's looking that up, in Melissa's mind, because she's a little fractured at this point, our plan to get Jackson out's not going to work unless we can distract the entity, and the conclusion she's come to deal that is to bring the entity's attention mainly on her, and then she can keep it away from everyone else. And I don't think that out of character, I don't think that's going to work. But in character, I think that's the conclusion she'll have come to.
Okay, so we're gonna change something about your character.
Yeah.
I want to change your trait away from very matter of fact. Can be a little overbearing and stern to something like help me figure this out. Let's work on this together. Where I'm feeling like Melissa is now not that she's not matter of fact, but like a self-doubter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can add like that idea of just like you always feel like you know what the right answer is. That's how matter of fact works, right? Like we're going to follow the facts. But every step along the way, she is unsure, which is going to give her second thoughts on literally every action she ever makes. Have you guys ever been frustrated or sad or just like really down and around people who aren't?
I've never been frustrated nor sad.
Perfect. Then this will not mean anything to you. But that's what you feel right now. Cuz everybody's been like really sad and like really down, but it's that extra feeling of like you are also aware of your presence and your feelings, which are an extreme dichotomy to something else in this room. You have that feeling that there's someone next to your desk, and as Melissa was explaining this on the phone, they're like leaning in. You feel crowded as they're listening to this. Like they want to hear what Joseph has to say as well. And then right at the end of it, because it starts with Melissa just describing how she wants to break up and doesn't think the relationship is going well. There comes a point where Melissa feels like she started the first one, which is I cheated on you, and then the next lie that she tells, and then there comes a point where she realizes she's talking, and it's not entirely her voice. Something else is talking through her to Joseph. And then that's when the final, the last bit of I've cheated on you, we need to break up, and then I'm burning your manuscript and all of that. And it clicks, and then it gives that boo as this feeling of this thing now all around you. Is extremely pleased, and every other time it like leaves really quick, but it seems to be lingering because this is an incredibly emotionally despairing time.
And because Melissa's feeling this, she's trying to like draw it in more and keep it there. So she's like, because he's trying to lessen the effect on everyone else by like drawing its attention. So which I don't know if that's a thing that'll work, but that's like what in her mind. So she's looking at the smoldering remains of this manuscript burns, and she's thinking about every happy memory she's ever had with Joseph, and like reliving that in her head, and like and saying like her favorite bits of those out loud, so that like all those little bits of happiness are like stabbing her again and like twisting the knife of what she just did.
As she's saying this,
and by the end of it, she's like fiddling with her engagement ring, and by the end of it, she like chucks the ring across the room, like into the trash can or something, just like where she can't even look at it anymore. And she's like staring at the mark on her finger where it used to be, and that's like bothering her.
So when she throws it across the room and she finishes the last like couple lines of whatever her favorite poem is, the smoking ashes of his manuscript, and she's muttering to herself, her vision goes not black, but like it becomes narrow, like literally the periphery of her vision darkens, and she hears the drawer of the desk open. She didn't open it, but the desk drawer opens. It slides open, and inside is a letter opener. And
oh my god,
Melissa now feels this entity placing its hand on hers reaching for the letter opener.
She hesitates for a moment, but then she goes for it because she is both terribly distraught, but she's trying to suppress a sense that like this might be working, but she can't she doesn't feel any satisfaction in it in the moment.
No, none at all. There is no satisfaction, and the other thing is getting happier.
Right.
Go
so she
roll
picks up
sanity.
Yeah.
Or power.
Sanity.
Whichever one is higher.
We're about to lose a party member.
Power. They're both equal.
Whichever you feel more comfortable rolling.
We'll go sanity. It feels more appropriate.
Melissa definitely feels like go ahead and lose another point of sanity, 2 more points of sanity.
Sure.
And this is going to give you another madness where like it's that thing where like she feels something else touch the back of her hand towards the letter opener, and she doesn't need the thing to help her grab. She feels it and immediately goes for that letter opener, takes it, and then just starts jabbing it into her arm. She feels absolutely terrible. I'd like you to lose 5 points of power temporarily as well. Notate that. And she is absolutely confirmed that she can make contact with this being. Whether or not that's useful, she can't discern.
Yeah. I think by the end of it, she should lose her ring finger where the mark of her ring is on.
Oh, it's so good! Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That's another thing. And add yourself 1 more Cthulhu Mythos since you went through another bout of madness.
Yeah. I'm just adding. I was already down 5 Constitution temporarily, so down 5 power temporarily. Okay.
And then her vision goes completely black from the blood loss. And after time, actually, at this point, Chris and Max eventually show up and find Melissa passed out on the floor, her finger separated and bleeding, with a fire on the desk. And you two can now roll sanity.
Oh, can I add one thing too?
Yeah.
I feel like her blood. In her blood she wrote "hypothesis confirmed" before she from the finger.
I love it.
That's it.
I look over to Chris and like, well,
Also, I will be right back.
that's so sanity.
Yes, please roll sanity, both of you, because you're walking in on this because you guys are coming back.
I'm immune.
Oh, fail.
David, roll a d2, and Ethan, you succeeded. Just lose 1.
Yo, my pure willpower and determination also drives Chris through it.
Wow.
All right.
This
All right. I lost 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And Ethan only loses the 1 and does not relieve himself of the mark of looming failure because he has not yet lost a roll, which is excellent. This seems like a good a time as any to take a short break.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Let's say 10 minutes is always just too short. So let's say 15, 9:55, and we'll reconvene and we'll continue playing and ideally see the conclusion.
Yes.
if you need me, I'll be on the floor.
Okay. All right, there we go. And we're back. Melissa just ruined everything about herself. And Chris and Max just walked in on it.
Melissa
think
kind of hoped the doctor would show up to help the injury too, but that hasn't happened yet.
I kind of think that we're doing a good cop, bad cop situation.
Oh,
Okay.
Best cop.
usually hold on.
To the bad guy. because like I am setting up the thing that the bad guy will hate, and Melissa is doing the thing that the bad guy.
Yeah, but either way, if the bad guy isn't paying attention to Jackson, and we can
Right.
get Jackson out, we're good, right?
Right.
All good.
One more thing. Melissa can permanently lose 1 dexterity.
Oh, that makes perfect sense, and I will mark
Oh,
that.
that's not that bad.
Yeah,
I was about to be like, oh my god, that's so much, but this isn't World of Darkness.
there's
Right.
there's suggestions for the people who get limps to lose like 5 to 10 dexterity and stuff like that. So this is more flavor than anything else.
Okay.
If you lose something on 1 point, you should just spend the luck on it.
Like in the game system I'm used to, if you lose a dexterity, that's like a lot. That's like a
Yeah, it's like a huge chunk of what you can do.
I mean, with how close we've been succeeding and failing on rolls in this game, I'm feeling even 1 percentage point right now. That's for sure.
medicine. Just kidding. I'm not. Gonna try.
I'm actually okay. No, it's severed and you lost the thing. It's not going to continue to bleed or screw you. That'd be dumb.
And it's
Yeah,
on my non-primary hand because it's the ring finger. So
Anyways,
So Chris walks in, right? We all walk in,
Everybody walks in.
and
Max.
it's like, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go. Just go.
So she comes in and goes, "Oh, Melissa, you stupid." Just seeing the blood everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And knowing that Melissa was on some sort of like mental tear was like, oh.
Melissa's
She's
not
gonna,
in a good way.
yeah, and Melissa is like out, right? Like passed out.
Yes.
yes.
Okay, good. So yeah, she's going to call the front desk and ask for a medic and just like kind of hold Melissa while we wait for people with skills to show up.
Max
Oh, that's
just
her.
rolls his eyes and goes to rip up one of Melissa's shirts to wrap around her finger.
You guys console her. Most of your efforts are for comfort rather than actual medicine.
Right.
And a little while later, because eventually schools had school nurses, I'm cool with there just being like a generic hotel physician.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he comes in with his black bag you see in the hit movie Balto, and he comes in and sees everyone and is just like, "What has happened here?"
I don't know. My friend is hurt though. I would very much like it if you helped treat her wounds.
Yeah, yes, I can do that. And he goes to fix her, and then
Okay.
rolls well.
Good.
It will heal fine. You've lost the finger. That's really sad and bad.
Yeah.
And then after time, after he dresses the wound, gives her a little morphine before he applies smelling salts, and Melissa is back with us.
Awesome. Melissa is probably like head in Chris's lap type situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's like that's how you like take care of a child is you just lay their head in your lap and you like stroke their hair and tell them that everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So Chris has probably been doing that.
Shock out of her.
Yeah.
Go all patting on her.
I don't think there's anything else I can do here, but you need to go to a proper hospital and get that looked at before it gets gangrenous.
Thank you, Walter.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
It my
and,
my bill is on the hotel checkout. Sorry for the bad news, but there you go.
No, we understand. And could you maybe apply some discretion when mentioning what happened here?
Let's find out. Yeah. Absolutely.
I rolled 100 on a D100. I don't know if that's good or bad for me, but I'll accept them saying yes.
I've learned that I really enjoy rolling in the open.
Yeah, I like that too.
100.
All right,
Yeah.
so what is the plan now, guys?
So with Melissa awake, Chris sits you up and says, "Melissa, what did you do?"
So Melissa looks up and like starts to like say, and she keeps changing her mind on what she's gonna say a couple times. Before she just says that I tested a theory and I ended my marriage. And then
she says, "I tested a theory and everybody sees hypothesis confirmed written in blood."
Yeah. And then she says she ended her marriage, and then she just starts sobbing.
What does the? Okay, she'll wait. And say, well, I don't know how one can end their marriage from here, but I hope that you're okay.
Empathetic.
Melissa between sobs just says modern telecommunications has come a long way.
Empathetic as ever, Max just sits down and is like, that was pretty stupid for a scientist.
Well, what did you confirm? You said hypothesis confirmed. What have you confirmed? Let's focus on some positives.
That the dragon can be drawn and communicated to roughly.
What?
Is its presence still around me?
No, we don't necessarily feel that. We have the lingering feeling of everything is bad, but she does not have the looming presence that it is here.
That the dragon's eyes can be drawn toward a person and focused on a person for a period of time, given enough grief and misery. No, I think I need to lay down for a little bit. And she like stumbles over to the bed.
Sure. I'll be right back.
Sure.
While Max is out of the room, Chris is going to say, Melissa, I think the mayor is going to put together the festival that we talked about.
Good.
I wonder if that was possible because of what you did. Because there was never a moment in his elation that I felt like there was a presence making it not happen. And this is the first time that we've had any forward progress on any individual action. So
it wasn't just the test of my theory though. There was a second purpose to this, but I don't know if we'll need it.
Oh?
Well, if it would help if we had somebody on the inside, I'd be pretty convincing as somebody who's gone mad right now, and I hold up my stump of a finger.
At that moment, a bellboy, someone wearing the hotel attire. I feel like the doctor didn't close the door, and we're all still like in panic mode. Just comes up to the door and like knocks on the frame a couple times and goes, "Hello."
I'm sorry, we don't need any bag service.
No, there's the mayor is trying to reach you, but it seems that this phone line is disconnected, so I wanted to check it.
Oh my. And she gets up and like does what she can to like get some blood off of her. And
yeah.
That's not gonna happen. She says, "Give me 1 moment and I will be downstairs."
Yes, but I need to check the phone. It'll be very fast. He comes in and he like decidedly doesn't look at anyone. And he comes in and like picks up the phone and sees that the line has been like legitimately severed, and then like looks confused. He says,
he sees blood, a severed line, and the smoldering remains of something.
It's like,
and Chris goes, "What kind of hotel is this where the phone will stay maintained?"
And he like his back is to everyone because he doesn't want to look at you all. It's like, he's holding on line 1 downstairs. And then he just exits.
Thank you, Palmer. You are a gem. As Chris goes and gets changed
Yeah.
before going into the public.
And then she does. I'm assuming we're good. You're gonna go downstairs?
Yeah. Yep.
You go downstairs, and as soon as you reach the front desk, there's like, Chris, here you go, and like takes the phone, sets it on the desk, and then gives you the receiver.
Right. Okay, cool. I'll take the receiver and hold it to my ear. Salazar, is that you?
Chris, good news. I talked to Berger. He hates it. I love it.
That is splendid news. Do you think that we are still on course to have our festivities?
Yes, it's going to be taking place tomorrow, around 5:00. I had to push it back later than I wanted to because it's short notice, and I wanted to talk to McBride's family. But they're going to have some readings for him because even though he was not well, he was still beloved by many.
That is excellent news. I'm over the moon impressed and with your acumen. Is there something more that I can do to help liven the festivities? I imagine you know everyone that could put on a good show, but since I've kicked this pebble downhill and it's now a rolling boulder, I want to make sure that my talents are available to you if you need them.
Nope. I can't. I mean, you're out of town, and I can't imagine how you'd be not to be blunt about it, but useful in any particular way with the general people about town. And I'm sure you never even met Berger, so we're just
fair assessment.
We're just going to politely invade his amphitheater with good feelings and well wishes.
I think that my photographer Max. He is an army man, and I think a polite invasion is just what he wants to hear about.
You hear the snapping of a finger on the other side, and he goes, "Oh, that's what you can do. Is you can bring your photographer. The reporters around here know me, and I don't feel like hiring my own."
Absolutely, he will be there with a fresh roll of that filmy stuff.
I'll have someone go to your hotel later this evening, and I just want them to pick up the photo that Max took this earlier today, so we can put it in the papers.
I will make sure that he will have it ready.
Thank you very much, and I am excited for tomorrow. There's gonna be food, and there's gonna be decency all around. Berger be damned! And he just like slams the phone down.
He's on a mission. I love it. It.
This might be my favorite NPC so far. We've had some really good ones.
Excellent.
Tell me stuff, huh?
Well, she is going to hustle. She's going to place the receiver back down and leave like a dime tip or whatever you're supposed to leave and say, thank you so much for keeping the mayor for me. I do appreciate you.
Yes.
And she hustles upstairs.
Good news, everyone!
Yeah, she hustles upstairs. Maxwell, we need that photo ready for the mayor.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Don't come in the bathroom.
He set up an impromptu dark room.
She like pauses for a minute, like, why would I go into the bathroom? There's a gentleman in there. Oh, because of the light. Got it. She like looks like gross. Why would I ever go in there? Oh, right.
Don't open the door. I'm naked.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and roll photography just to check how your development goes? You fail. That's awful. We're going to go into a minor bout of madness because as you develop, because you have the mark of looming failure. So it's not going to lose you any sanity, none of the actual lasting effects, but you are going to have a bad time.
Oh, shit.
So let's do a summary because you're currently alone by yourself in the bathroom. You're going to develop a mania, and I'll find the mania table in just a second. I might not do that one. But when you develop your photo, you develop it, and it is exactly as you thought that it was going to be. You have Chris and Frank shaking hands in the other Joe's diner with the patrons in the background. But in the background, you also see, oh no, what happened?
Casey.
I see Casey.
Hey, guys.
Casey has arrived.
Casey's in the
My
photo.
friends.
Casey's in the photo.
He broke the fourth wall.
And Rob's stream.
And everything is moved around incorrectly.
Oh,
I
good.
do
Casey,
apologize.
good. It is good to
No,
see you, man.
are fine, man.
I will move this stuff around in just a second. How you doing, Casey?
I'm tired.
Are you good to play? Are you sure?
yeah, no. I'm trust me. After the tomfoolery I just went through, I want to play.
All right, I'm into it.
Have you guys done your break and stuff, or?
Oh my god.
Yeah, we just actually ended our break, and then we
Gotcha.
came back maybe 5-10 minutes ago. So
Gotcha.
So we'll give you a recap in just a second. Let me explain this one thing. And then, because you have lost your marker as well, which is awesome. As you look at this photo that you developed, a shape similar that you had in the previous photo is in the background, so that some of the patrons are hard to see because they're kind of like, you ever look at a road when it's too hot, it's all like shimmery, light is warped. It's like that in the general shape of the dragon, and it is looking as the best as you can tell. Like, there's only one part of the dragon that has like actually come through and is perfectly visible, and it is his eyes looking directly at you in the camera. This sends you into a new bout of mania, which I'm going to say, for at least for a little while, like, you've developed a fascination with taking pictures of people. You make a claim that it's for portraits, but you're always looking for those eyes again. You want to take pictures of people's eyes.
All right.
Your window's
That's cool.
too small.
All right, but Casey's
That's
here.
what I'm gonna tell people.
The fun thing is that you can't tell if the dragon is obvious in this photo, or because of your newfound fascination with floaties and this dragon, if you just noticed it because you know what to look for. right.
Do I have anything against sharing it with my party members, given how much we've shared?
What do you mean?
Do I have any, I don't know. Am I free to share it with Chris and Melissa?
Yeah. If they want to see it, that's different. But
Melissa is napping right now.
before we get to that, let's catch up Casey real quick. Let's try to make that a little fast,
Yes.
Yeah. While you do that, I'm gonna grab refill my water. I'll be right back.
So, Casey, are you sitting down, my friend?
though. A lot's happened.
Yeah, so we have kind of abandoned the stone disc plan that we had started to come together with, right?
Okay.
Because we thought, well, that would take us too much time. We only have a day and a bit. And so our goal now is to do all that we can to extract our friend. Or not our friend, but
Jackson Elias.
Jackson Elias. That's right. I was about to click on his name. And so what we've done is we've taken two approaches. One, Chris has met the mayor, and she has organized a town festival to be held on the asylum grounds in the amphitheater. And this is in response to us realizing that the town is miserable, and whatever this thing is that's out here is feeding on it or creating it or somehow relishing in the misery. And so our idea was, well, let's make a festival where people are happy and they remember the dearly departed, the person who died yesterday. And so we've made that happen. The mayor is all about forcing a festival to happen on the grounds at the amphitheater, and has like justification to do so because the town has helped approve or make that amphitheater happen and now wants to use it again. And the family of the deceased is involved, and the mayor is all on board. There's a bunch of stuff going to happen there. So we're going to have this like big shindig that's guaranteed to make the creature, the being, whatever it is, very upset, because people are going to be taking a miserable thing and trying their best to make it a happy thing, right?
Right.
And at the same time, Melissa went into her room alone and, as a scientist, tried an experiment to summon the dragon to herself. Understanding that it desires misery, she began to create for herself and her fiancé the most miserable outcome possible by phoning him up and telling him a lot of lies about their relationship and about her opinions of his work and her fidelity, and ended their marriage or their engagement over the phone in the 1920s when you don't
Classy.
do that. And yeah, the creature made its presence known.
The dragon was present.
Yeah.
I confirmed we can draw its attention and potentially distract it at the cost of my entire future.
And it was there and guided her hand towards a letter opener in the desk, which compelled her to chop off her ring finger.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of sanity rolling lately.
Yeah, it's been an intense first half of this session.
However,
I took a hit to 3 different stats, but it was worth it, I think.
Frank Salazar is the coolest dude in the world.
Yeah, I'm a real fan of Frank. I'm sad I wasn't in that scene.
And then that's where you come in, where Max is in the bathroom developing a photo. Chris and Melissa are in the hotel room. So everybody's together, but Max is in the bathroom, trying to just like console themselves and like get ready to move on with their lives somehow. And then Dr. John Lucas shows up. Where you been?
I have been at the other Joe's.
Yes.
Getting a lovely cup of coffee and a burger.
Good burger.
And burger. And now I'm getting caught all back up and just saying, all right.
You just had a slow start. It was a new day. Everybody else is doing their shit, and John is just like, you know what, guys? Like, I have a ritual, and I don't start my day until 4 p.m.
And he might have needed to talk to the thugs he hired to kidnap a man.
Oh, yeah. Eli's gonna show up. Don't worry.
Okay,
good.
Eli's showing up later. Got it.
Yep. I had to definitely go try to find those guys.
You failed. You searched the city looking for them, and you could not find them.
Okay. So, what's going?
What's going on, gang? And you walk into a room not full of blood. It's not like it's everywhere. It's just, you know how blood has a nasty tendency to like just be in place, get on things everywhere, no matter how little there is. That's what you find. With Melissa and Chris lying in the bed and Max is in the bathroom developing a photo.
What has happened here?
Explanation.
Right.
Melissa waves at you with her bandaged, bloody finger hand.
Let me take a look at that. What did you do?
And that's when you see the knife.
Yep.
Yeah, the letter opener.
Oh, okay. Let me take a look at that.
I give the same answer that I gave the last person who asked that. I confirmed the hypothesis and ended my marriage. And then go back to crying.
You're surprised because they actually already had a physician look at it. And you're pleased that he did really well. And it is
Excellent.
as healed as it's going to be.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see you had this taken care of. Ended your marriage. It's a little extreme to cut off your finger. May
It
I
was
ask?
only about 80% my doing.
80% you're doing.
Percent.
And what is this? Okay. And what is this? As I'm hearing about a festival? I heard it throughout the town.
I have no idea.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So the mayor and I have schemed to put forth a festival to brighten up the town and raise everyone's spirits. We are doing it as a memoriam, and the family will be there doing some readings, and there will be music and food, and I think it will be a lovely affair on the grounds of the asylum, providing ample distraction, and maybe a window of opportunity for us to get Jackson Elias out of the asylum.
Excellent. Sounds
So,
like a plan, because I am ready to get out of this accursed city.
yes, indeed.
Bellboy comes back and knocks on the door frame.
Yes.
Hello, I am sorry, but there is a Bradley Gray on the phone looking for Melissa, I believe.
That's me. I'll grab the phone, I guess.
It would be much more convenient if the phone in this room was operational. But it should be held for you on line 1 at the main desk.
I will be down shortly.
Let's get you changed.
What happened to the phone?
Collateral damage.
It was damaged at some point.
In the bout of madness, it was severed.
I have missed a lot.
If you look over to the desk, there is blood, the smoldering remains of a book, a severed phone line, and a bunch of stab marks in the desk.
And a still hot Bunsen burner.
Yeah, so we should probably turn that off.
You go take your phone call. I'll go over there and turn it off.
Yeah.
Melissa heads down to the front desk then.
Anybody know why she burned?
She goes down to the front desk, and they again, ting, hands you the receiver.
Hello, is this...
Hello, this is Bradley Gray. I am speaking with Melissa DeVry. Is this correct?
This is correct.
I've been contacted by a one Jonah Kensington. Why?
You have been contacted by a Jonah Kensington because a mutual acquaintance of ours, Elias Jackson, has been held against his will at the mental institution here at... What was the town name again, Croy? I'm sorry.
Danvers.
At Danvers. We visited him, and it was quite clear that with a medical doctor in tow to assess, and it was clear that he is of sound mind and body, and he had voluntarily entered and wanted to leave, but the staff would not let him. And in addition, an associate of his was treated for their own ailments and has ended up dead, and we found out Jackson is due for the same treatment in 2 days, and we would like to prevent that.
This is curious.
Clear.
No, that is clear and unexpected. I am not entirely sure what I can do to help. Firstly, I am not yours or Jackson Elias's attorney. Secondly, you can't afford me. Thirdly, I am far away. I can try to draft a paper, but it won't reach you in a due time. It seems that this experimental feature that will be the end of his life happens very soon, and I have no reason to go to Danvers, and I have little way to post it to you under such conditions unless I send a courier, but I don't know of a courier at the moment. Now, that said, this death, these mortal arrangements is more than I expected, and seems not good. So I'm afraid that I cannot make it out there myself. But I am very interested in getting Jonah Kensington off of my back once and for all, so I will send a courier to you with some form of draft paper that will at least hold up in court for a time. I don't know if it'll be any good, but that is what I can offer you.
any help would be appreciated, Mr. Gray. What is your specialization, Mr. Gray, if I can ask?
I'm the personal attorney of Erica Carlisle.
Ah, I see. I guess the only other thing I could ask for, other than the papers you sent, is if you either knew of or could recommend a local attorney here who could maybe do something with the documents you draft and send to us that we could get on retainer.
Yes.
Or yes,
Yes, he's well retired at this point, mostly because he was tired of the busy life of New York. But you might want to look up James Garner.
James Garner.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, Jonah mentioned that this would basically even you up for this favor, so thank you.
Well, I'm not sure if you're the person I should be saying you're welcome to, but either way, you're welcome.
And Melissa hangs up and goes to hand it back, and like with like both hands, and then like forgets the other hand's kind of messed up and kind of fumbles it a bit.
Sure. He takes it from you for you.
Yeah.
And says, "I will continue to let you know when there is notifications for you."
Actually, could you get the operator and connect me to a Mr. and then I say that person's name that I just forgot because my brain is
James Garner.
James.
He does that he doesn't break eye contact with you, but he does that like inward sigh sort of thing. And he pulls out a phone book. Looks up James Garner and dials it on the rotary. It rings a couple times and he goes, "Hello? Yes, this is the X hotel that we never named. I have a Melissa DeVries looking for you." "Very well. Here." And then hands you the receiver.
All right. And then Melissa introduces herself and just says, "I was recommended to you by a Mr. Gray."
You say that and he just...
Yes, I know. I figured I would get a reaction like that. It seems to be the day.
My God.
What?
We have an unusual situation, and Mr. Gray cannot be here. And he's sending along some papers, and I just give him the same rundown I gave Mr. Gray of what's going on.
Yeah.
And was like, could we possibly have you on retainer? We know you don't do a lot of work anymore, but we heard you're damn good at what you do, and we need any sort of help.
The main trouble is that I am not previously Jackson Alliance's attorney, and therefore don't have the power of attorney, and the only way that I would have that is if he gave it to me, and if there's a question about the soundness of his mind, that could become problematic. You mentioned that you have some form of documentation that proves that he has soundness of mind?
Yes, we have prior
doctor's
communication
note
from him showing his soundness of mind, and we also have 4 witnesses to when we visited him of his soundness of mind. And we're hoping that at the very least, if we could use your assistance in setting up another visit with him before anything tragic could happen, and maybe establishing power of attorney and retaining for that.
I can do this for you. If when you receive the papers from Gray, which is probably some form of cease and desist, if you give me that, and then also whatever documentation you have, I can put them into the court, and it probably won't hold up and it won't actually last, but it'll be enough of a stoppage so that this experimental treatment doesn't take place in the next couple of days, and then there's a legal court fight that we will inevitably lose. But if you have some other thing that you're going to do in the meantime, at least the experiment won't take place.
Yes, the time is what we need so that we can establish other means of getting him out and establishing his sane.
When you have everything, just drop it off at my office. There's
all right.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yes.
I hang up again, and then I thank the bellboy,
who's just been looking at you the whole time.
Yes, and I go to give him a tip.
Mm-hmm.
I reach into my purse and I dig around and I pull out stuff. including my severed finger in a handkerchief, before finding my money, and then I hand him 50 cents and thank him, and then head back upstairs after I put everything back in my purse.
Standing perfectly still with lines squinted on his face from shutting his eyes so hard, he just goes, "Thank you."
Okay, and then I'm done with scenes for a bit. Somebody else take a scene, please.
What's everybody doing?
Let's get on with things as a group. I've got my picture. It's developed, and let's run it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what's up, John?
Dr. John Lucas.
I am composing myself. I guess changing clothes and then going.
With Max?
Yeah, with Max.
Cool. So you have your photo, and Melissa and Chris are probably going to stay back at the hotel.
Yep.
Dr. John Lucas, who I cannot not say the full name of, and Max will go to the municipality building to deliver your photo, right?
Yes.
Perfect. It is nearing the end of the day.
Okay. So I'm just like, let's get this done before nightfall.
Sure. You go inside. You go to the receptionist, as you did before earlier today. She recognizes you at least. And says, Frank said that you were coming by. You can just leave the photograph with me here.
I hope you don't mind, but I'd like to hand the photograph to him personally, ma'am. It's just a thing of comfort. It's been a weird few days. You don't mind, so, ma'am.
That is unusual, but I will let him know that you're here.
I appreciate it, ma'am.
She picks up the phone and makes an internal call to the other side of this wall, and says, Max is here with the photo. No, he wants to give it to you. Yes, I told him that he could leave it with me. Okay. One moment. She hangs down the phone. He'll be here in a second. Door opens. What do you need, Max?
Well, I just wanted to hand the photo to you and say you're doing a great job planning the festival, sir. And I hold out the photo to him.
You give him the photo, and he's been really pleasant like all day. But when he grabs the photo and then looks at it, it takes a long time for him to look away from the photo.
Oh, God.
And he looks back at you. He looks back at the photo. Now I know that it is common practice of photographers to take several photos. Is this the only one you have?
Is it the only one I took?
And then he's not looking at you.
Shall we roll photography?
He's not looking at you, and he just kind of like slowly nods his head in the way that his neck gets involved. That is the only photo you took. I was there. And he crumples it up. Well, what do you know? Hey, we don't need a photo in the newspaper. You did your job. Thank you so much, Max. And he puts his hand on your shoulder. I will see you at the festivities tomorrow, yeah?
Of course.
Excuse me, sir. Is there a reason why you just crumbled up my colleagues' hard work? You know how hard it is to do this job?
I mean, you're right. He should be compensated. And he gives you like $2 for it, which is quite a lot for it. He opens up his wallet, pulls out $2. That is a photo, and I hope it's not that you did a bad job. I just hope that we get better subjects. And then he realizes what he just said and like gestures to his belly. It wasn't you, it was me this time. Tomorrow.
We'll get a dashing photo of you, sir.
Oh, perfect. I look forward to it. Try not to be too happy and pleased. It is still a wake of sorts, but I am excited for tomorrow.
Of course, sir. You have a good day.
He turns and looks at Dr. John Lucas. I am sorry we haven't met. Are you part of Max's party here?
I am Dr. Lucas.
Ah, perfect. You have a doctor among you. Well, that's good, because you know about the festivities up at the hospital. You know, they might have a need.
Yes.
They might have a need for someone like you.
Sir, I've been here for a few days. I tell you right now, there's a lot of things hospital needs. My help is not one.
So I don't want to do this unfairly to you, but I do want to mention that they have lied by omission, and
Yes.
Frank currently believes that none of you have been to the hospital.
Rewind.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to do that to you unfairly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Don't worry, I got lots of other ways to fuck with you. I don't need to cheat.
Sir, I have heard about this. I've been looking for a job. Maybe. We'll take a look at what maybe I can do for the hospital.
Well, if you're ever interested in heading up, or at least even interning at Danvers, the position that is filled has quite a bit of say from my seat. So just send me your resume at some point if you're looking for something different.
Absolutely, sir.
And
That was a path this whole time?
And then he just like sets his hands on both, like the middle of both of your backs, and like says small talk as he gestures you out of the room and doesn't follow.
Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Max, you got out of it.
I casually pocket my $2.
Yeah, you do.
All the
Hold
money I
up,
got
Max.
off of Chris.
All right. So it is getting like, he probably shouldn't have been in his office, probably doing something late. It is getting relatively late.
All right, let's get back to the hotel.
I think Chris is working on getting all the linens and stuff out of this room, anything with blood on it, so that we can sleep in this room again. And probably like at least with the disposal of these linens, not necessarily involving the hotel staff.
Oh, you're trying to not have them involved?
Yeah.
They are aware that there's blood places.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
Because the bellhop, yeah. But what I mean to say is she's probably going to pull all the linens off and like put them somewhere in the room.
Yeah, okay.
And say, I need new linens in this space.
Sure. The bellhop comes on up, and in one hand he's carrying a rotary phone that he connects into the wall.
Cool.
And then he takes the linens and says that he'll come back with fresh ones and they'll make the bed.
You are too kind, thank you. As if this was a kindness he's doing me, not his job.
Yeah. Does John and Max want to do anything before they head back to the hotel, which I assume is what they will inevitably do?
We would like to head back. This just out of character. This just gives you plenty of chances.
I have
nothing.
I have so much ammo.
I have nothing to do regardless, so
All right, we all head back. Yeah.
I was gonna ask out of character, is there a way for contact the thugs? Has that happened while I've been gone?
No, if you remember, they said they'll figure out how to contact you, and then he leaned real far to get a good look at your car. All you remember is that his name was Eli Ward.
Eli Ward. All right. Yeah. Is there a pawn shop in town?
Sure.
I need to head to the pawn shop.
You head to the pawn shop. It's near closing time. You got like a half hour before there. Is Max going with John or no?
I reckon so.
All right, Max and John go to the pawn shop. What are we looking for in the pawn shop?
I need to actually pawn my watch because I don't have the money to pay those.
Isn't your watch your sacred item of sorts?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Dude.
I remember.
Can you roll sanity for me?
Are they selling a pistol and ammunition by chance?
Yeah, they have a 6-shot.
How much?
Oh, I don't know what guns are worth in this.
Let's say $10.
Green or purple.
I
Forget.
think of the green one, right?
Yeah, the green ones are the normal ones.
Ooh.
Very cool. You only lose that much sanity. Go ahead and lose 2 sanity. As describe to me the emotion that Dr. John Lucas feels as he's pawning his most treasured possession.
High disappointment, sadness, because this was the thing that he promised his father that he would never ever lose, and he feels like he has failed some way to them, and he only hopes that maybe out of all of this he can save a man's life, and that's the only thing giving him solace as he hands over the watch.
While you're having like utter despair, you feel a presence around you as the presence is not actually focused on you, and you can tell because your attention specifically is drawn to Max buying a gun. And as you're handing the watch over, you look over to the other counter and you see him receiving a 6-shot and 12 rounds. And you feel a sinking feeling in your heart. Your dad would be very disappointed.
I would just
Call
put
it
my.
out. Call
I
it
would
out.
put my. I'm gonna put my hands up to my mouth, take the money from the guy, thank him, take the receipt, and walk out. I won't after looking at that.
Max, I assume you leave with him?
Yeah, I'll leave with them.
And as you are both walking out, you know how like pawn shops or these modern ones have like the desk, the counter at which you are standing, and then behind it there's usually like bunches of racks and stuff.
Yep.
You notice that there's a person in the back who had just been watching that transaction. And it was difficult to see what his eyes looked like, but he just was watching. We exit the pawn shop, and we go to the hotel.
Yep.
Everyone arrives in the hotel.
I don't think that Chris has anything else other than to get to the festival the next day. So I think when the fellas get back, it's gonna be like a dinner.
Mm-hmm. Meal.
Maybe meet downstairs for some dinner and catch up. But yeah.
I would like to actually pull aside and ask what the hell is going on with this festival. What are we doing?
Yes. So the deal with tomorrow. We are trying
It's a big day.
We are trying to build the distraction that'll let us get Jackson Elias out of the asylum. We've tried legitimate means, and those may not be coming together. If they do, we have the mayor there, and the mayor seems to like us, or at the very least like me. And we might be able to use some of his sway to get our friend out with some help of a lawyer. That being said, there is the potential that won't work, at which point it might be a bit of a kidnapping situation while everyone is enjoying this festival. We're on kind of a wing and a prayer.
Understood. Well, I've met the mayor. Seems like a jovial fellow.
He
A little
does.
too jovial for this area. But
Yes.
you know what? As you say, the legitimate means are not going the way we planned. Though,
Yeah.
I come to find out they do have a possible opening for a doctor.
What? She just blinks at you.
Yep.
As in, he could be replaced.
Yes.
Quote of the night: "Berger be damned."
Birds would be damned. Better get your resume ready. We got a big morning ahead of you.
I assume we all have dinner, finish up our chat, and go to sleep.
First off,
Yeah.
Chris, I'm like, oh yeah, I bought a pistol.
Why did you do this?
It's for me. I'm not taking it to the festival. We know what happened last time with firearms, but I'm gonna leave it in the hotel room.
Okay.
Do you have a lock and key?
For the door, yes.
By the way, I put the pistol in your sheet for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What is the intention with this firearm?
Oh, this for what we're doing? None.
Okay.
There's no intention.
Okay.
Okay. Before we all go to sleep, we 5 have kind of a problem. In that this is normally our ending time, and I want to know how people are feeling. Because if we power through, we can probably finish tonight. But this is a good stopping point.
Yeah.
So how are people feeling?
I could continue on, or I could stop.
At which point, this one shot will have become 4 sessions.
Hey man, I tried to move it forward. I just made more work though.
So is there a way to like, because I think you know our play, right? You know the things we're gonna do. Like we're gonna try and do something to distract the beast at the same time as the festival.
Yeah.
At the same time as grabbing Jackson Elias, or legitimately pulling him out if the papers come together.
Which is more likely. Well, he might be out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah. So we have like a couple of things going on here.
Yeah.
To me, that is a smooth like 3 hours of letting all that unravel with rolls. Because it's a lot of different aspects, a lot of different things that are happening.
It's true.
So I am okay powering through if we do some like arbitration and like cinematic stuff.
I can't do another 3 hours though.
I definitely wasn't thinking that. I was expecting without more sidetracks, like another hour and a half at most. And then a short wrap up at the end.
Yeah, I mean a lot of our stuff, like we have our plan in place. We don't need to do a lot of more talking. We can just
I was kind of wondering if maybe you could cinematic us and then like at a decision point pause, ask us for a decision, and then we see more cinematic.
I can definitely do that when we get to the party.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we have anything to do before the party, or can we just kind of?
I've got a thing to do before the party. I mean, there's this extra lawyer bit that doesn't actually help you guys because they think it's an experimental treatment.
We're setting up the lawyer bit for like if we all ended up failing, so that there was like a hook that could be used as like a wrap up story point. But like,
because the lawyer is really cool, but it doesn't actually help because they all think it's a real treatment.
Right.
So then, yeah, I have a thing though before we get to cinematography.
Cool.
Are we? Casey, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right. Everybody goes to sleep.
Yes.
Everyone dreams. During your dreams, everyone has the same dream, which is you are at the amphitheater. You don't see each other. You're all just having your own singular version of this dream, and you're at the amphitheater. And at the amphitheater, you see, just like people. Generically, there are people. They don't have faces, and it's not that they don't like have a face removed. It's just everything is hazy, and you just are where there are people. Near the man-made little pond type lake structure that they have, there is a podium pulpit, and everyone is milling about and talking to each other. There are a lot of people from the town, and that's obvious because they're not dressed in the clothes that the inmates are dressed in, and obviously only the most well-behaved inmates are allowed out. But there comes a point where there is this violent vibration inside your dream, and you recognize this from the time you were at Joe's. Remember, there was a miniature earthquake, and there's this vibration that slowly moves to a rocking, and the pond starts developing ripples, and then not quite waves, but it's definitely moving. And then all at once you hear the sound of crunching wood as the pulpit explodes. Everyone runs in mass panic, including you. You run towards the asylum because it's the closest shelter. And there's a side entrance. And as you're running towards the side entrance, you see a door. And as you're running for that door, you swing open that door, and then everyone awakes in a startle as Eli Ward is dragging a man in with a gun to his head. Hi, John! How you doing? You got some money for us, yeah? He shoves him down into the floor, kicks his knee in with a gun to the back of his head, and there's a guy posted on outside the door in the hallway. All right, John, $300, yeah?
Oh my god.
You couldn't. I get up. I'm like, you couldn't wait till morning.
No, morning there's eyes. Morning there's people who can see things. And everybody knows nobody goes to this hotel. I could shoot him here, nobody'd hear it. The housing staff's not even here. You've been downstairs, it's 3 a.m. You know what else is a 3? My money, 300. Come on, John. The orderly is like shaking and is just gripping his fists with white knuckles. Now you want to hit him alive, which is really more trouble than it's worth. At this point, you see he's got a black eye. Eli does.
Yeah. Right. Here's your. I pull out the 300.
It's like, okay, I don't know this guy's name. Do you know his name? It's Peter. Shut up, Peter. Do you know his name?
Peter.
All right, cool. Thanks, John. Hey, Peter. I need you to go sit in that chair. All right, I'm going to take this money. I'm going to leave you with these nice fellows. All right, you and I, we're done. And he clobbers him in the back of the head with the gun, comes over, points it at John, and holds out his hand. Yeah? All right. This is good, right?
I shake. Yeah. Don't kill him.
All right, John. This has been fantastic. He puts his gun away. This has been super. I hope you have a good time. Welcome to Danvers. I'll see you around. All right.
Sir.
All right. Take care, John.
Take care.
Eli is bleeding out of his missing ear. As he's like because remember the one that's the one that you wanted. That was the identifying mark.
Yep.
The orderly.
Yep.
Peter is bleeding out of his missing ear as he's like putting his hand on the chair in the room and struggling to stand up. What's everybody doing?
So I immediately get down and I start searching the man. I want to see if he has keys, useful things on him.
Give me a fight brawl because he's a little dazed, but he's definitely not compliant.
Oh, he's not compliant. I thought he was terrified.
The guy with the gun just left.
Oh. Okay.
I'm sorry, was that not clear? Eli's leaving. He's done.
I pull out a gun.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Okay.
I look this man in the eye, and I put a few rounds in the chamber, and I say, Dr. John, would you please search this man? I'm not getting near to him for him to take the gun. We're being smart here. Search him. If he moves, I'll shoot him.
I
See if
get
he
dressed.
has
Somebody,
Don't
Chris gets
test me.
dressed.
I cock. Well, no, I don't cock it yet. We're not gonna have some fun sanity rolls, but there's some distance between me and him.
Sure. So one more time, explain to me what's happening. He's got a gun pointed at him. What's John doing?
I was going to administer the medicine to make sure he's okay. I'm trying to restart my right now. I do. It just shut down.
It's all right. Just tell me what you're doing. If we need to roll, I can roll on your sheet for you.
I was gonna, like John was saying, I was gonna search him,
Okay.
make sure see if he has any keys on him, see if he has anything that can help us get into the asylum without.
Oh yeah, he's totally got a set of keys on him.
All right, so I'm gonna snatch and grab the keys, and then as soon as he's in the chair, calm and relaxed, I will administrate some medicine.
He's
or doc.
he searches and he tries to like get you off of him, but he sees the gun and he's just like he's fucking pissed. And then he like real slow and with a lot of specificity sits in the chair and he like is gripping the arms. You motherfuckers have no idea what you're doing.
Really? Coming from the guy who tried to kill us.
Listen, why don't you explain what's going on?
Oh, you get your gun back. You find your gun.
But
Oh,
he's fucking
hey!
me.
You got your
Yay!
gun back!
I have no bullets for it, but it's okay.
Oh, he has the gun on him? So we have two guns.
All right.
I put it back in my purse.
But if you
Sure.
mess with me, I will shoot you. I served in the war. Don't test me.
You mentioned that you served in the war, then he starts laughing. Oh, and that's why it was so easy to subdue you in the hospital. That's fun.
Okay. In my doctor bag sedative.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's hard to hear you. In your doctor bag, what?
In my doctor bag, do I have any sedatives or
Sure.
any core? Alright. Do I have any needles?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna jab him in the leg.
So as you produce these things, he stands up. He doesn't move in towards anyone, but he stands up and he goes, "He's got a gun on me and you ain't stabbing me with shit.
Sit down,
Put it away."
sir.
Sir,
Killed.
you kill me, you're gonna die anyway. What, you think you're gonna get into that hospital? Nothing goes on there without Berger seeing. I'm already gonna die. No, you put that syringe away.
Sir, I'm going to replace
You're going to what?
him.
You're going to replace Berger.
Sir.
Are you going to replace the thing in the
There.
lake? Are you going to replace the thing in the lake? You don't even know about it, do you? And he starts like visibly shaking at this point. You don't even know about it. You don't even know the thing in the lake.
Alright, so I pull out a whatever equals to a sedative and I just jam it into his leg real.
Give me a fight roll.
Somebody got roll for me real quick.
I can do that for you. You are Dr. John Lucas.
While he moves to do that, Chris steps forward and says, "We know all about the thing in the lake, and that it feeds on misery."
Ooh, you rolled a 98, which is a fumble.
Oh no.
He's gonna roll his fight brawl. And he got an 8, which for him is an extreme success. So you go for him.
None of us should ever fight ever in this.
So you go for him
Never try to do these things.
with the syringe, and he like grabs your arm and then pushes the syringe into you, and you feel a calmness come over you. You don't take any damage. You just come real calm and light. And he's lowering you to the ground. He's staring at Max with the gun.
Shoot him.
Wait.
That and as soon as he says that, Chris just says that will only feed the thing in the lake.
Sit down and tell us about the thing in the lake. You don't think we know about the dragon?
What do you know about the dragon? You know that it's Berger.
It's not Berger. Berger's
not
working for it.
Berger.
You ever seen
Berger's
Berger?
separate. Berger is feeding it.
And he's looking at you, but he's not looking at you. He's looking through you, past you. You ever seen his eyes? You're telling me it's not Berger? No.
Berger has been feeding it.
Berger's been feeding it? What do you think you're going to do with this stupid festival tomorrow? In 2 days, Jackson Elias is going to feed the dragon.
We're going to... Listen.
Can I like look him in the eyes with crazy eyes and just like babble some of the madness that's in my head right now?
Yeah.
Would that help?
Would that help is different than can you do?
Would that assist the scene, or do you think that's just wasted effort and gonna extend this too long?
That would extend it.
Yeah,
We've reached an impasse. What are we going to do with him? He lowers John to the floor and stands back up, looking at Max square.
Right.
So Max still has the gun pointed at him, and I'm
Yep.
like, "Do you want this nightmare to end?
Repeat that.
Do you want this nightmare to end?"
There's no end to this. I've been there too long.
Listen, you said you're gonna die.
He starts walking towards you. There's no end to this.
Can I try to roll a...
What are you doing?
before I shoot him?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to persuade him to help us.
Sure, roll it.
And if this does not succeed,
that sounds like the GM saying whatever.
He's now walking into your gun. So you start to persuade him, and he reaches out. He doesn't grab you yet, but he's screaming, "There's no end to this!"
He's getting shot.
All right, give me a shot with advantage.
Yeah,
Double advantage actually, because you're like so close.
How do I? What's double advantage?
Purple, and then we're gonna look at the +2 line.
Okay. Firearms RS.
It's on your weapon. Scroll down to your weapon.
I'm sorry. What?
It's below all your skills.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you fail. So, as he screams, "There's no end to this!" You shake a little bit.
Try to harm anyone.
And he slaps your hand to the side, and you just shoot somewhere, nowhere. It shoots the mirror, and it starts to shatter, and then he goes to punch you. He's gonna roll his fight brawl, which he has more than 50 in.
Do I get a contest?
This is his fight back. This is his fight back because you failed. But he is unarmed.
My fumble was conveniently ignored.
Normally you don't get a fight back against a gun. Your fumble is why this is happening. You take 2 points of damage as he socks you in the face. All right, everybody. What's Melissa? What are you doing?
Melissa is gonna try to. She's gonna try to like talk him down by like trying to show that she's like interacted with the dragon. I guess.
You can either roll Cthulhu Mythos or a hard persuade.
I guess we'll roll Mythos.
Is that better than half of your persuade?
I believe they are close to the same at this point.
That's really fucked up.
The difference is 3%. I guess persuade's technically better, but like,
What you got?
Oh, hey, I'm gonna spend luck points.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna go find success on this. I'm gonna go down to
You're so lucky.
Spend the extra.
I'm gonna go down to 2 luck.
You're devil's advocate. Get a critical.
So he grabs Max's wrist with the gun and moves it aside, which is why it doesn't hit him, and then he socks Max in the head. and he's still holding the wrist, and like he follows Max as you start talking to him, explaining like the oddly specific feeling you get when you interact with the dragon. And still holding Max's hand, twisting the wrist a little bit, like crazed, hunched. He turns his head and looks at you. You've talked with it? No one talks with it.
That's because no one's really tried, have they?
You should leave. I can't leave. No one can leave, but you can. You should leave.
Specifically, I can? Is that what he's saying?
No, you out of towners. And he's also works there, like, and he's under Berger. It's too late for everyone at the hospital, and most of the townies don't know. But they feel it.
Chris is out of the room, by the way. She's left.
Yeah,
She's done with this?
Process everything I've just heard.
No, she's on to another thing, but she's out of the room.
Got it.
I stumble out of the room as well.
So now it's just Melissa and Max are in that room. Max is being held, and Melissa's talking to him.
So I talk to Peter and I say, like, it might be too late for everyone in the hospital, but we could still save the town. It's been sealed before, and we can, those of us who are doomed, we could lure it there again. Shine stopped it for a while.
I remember
You
Shine.
Shine.
I remember Shine.
Shine was a good man, wasn't he?
Shine was a good man. I remember that time.
Smart man. It was okay then, right?
Yeah. But Berger didn't like that rock. And everything got bad after that.
Right. But if we could put the rock back, or a new rock, we could put it back. And we might not be okay, but everyone else would be. Surely the town deserves better than what we're going to experience. They don't deserve what happened to you or anyone else there.
At this point, like everybody who's interacted with the dragon, which is both of you, you feel a presence in this room behind Pete. And then like Pete like starts to look in different directions as if he can see it. And he lets go of Max and he just punches himself in the head. Just wham! No, I can help. There's a rock in the basement, I can move it. I'll see you at the party. That's all I can do. It's the last. It's the last. It's the last. It's the last. And then he takes his head and he just bashes it into a wall. It's trying to talk to me. There's a rock in the basement. There's a chisel. There's a chisel. I know where the chisel is. I don't know the symbol. I don't know.
I know the symbol.
Do
you want to write it down?
we already have, but yeah, we can write that down.
So, I'm sure I've scribbled it, but
yeah.
I go to
Well, we have Dr. Shine's journal with it on it.
Oh yeah. So you just give him at least that page of it.
Yeah.
And then like without like he doesn't crumple it, but he's just like just grabs it. It's trying. You have to leave. And then he like stumbles around and he's trying to make it to the door and leave. Is anybody going to try to stop him?
No.
No.
No, he needs to go. Be strong.
He grips the door frame. I got work to do and I don't know what's going to happen. Smashes his head into the door frame. You'll find the rock. It's going to be near the lake somewhere. I can move it. This is the last time. And then he leaves. And he goes down the hallway, which is empty because Eli was right. Nobody goes to this hotel.
Yeah. The last thing Melissa wants to say, like as he's leaving, it is, "You're a good man, Peter. Shine would be proud." Yeah. And then I don't have anything else for this scene, so.
I look to Melissa and I'm like, if we're being possessed, blunt force injury. It works.
I just leave next to like, Dan, how does it feel to know that your whole like feel the study is a lie?
How does it
Because-
feel to be so ignorant to refuse to acknowledge what's in front of you?
No, I've acknowledged what's in front of me, but everything you've suggested and tried to do has not worked. Everything you know is false.
What about the
I'm
stone?
the only one who's
You are
discovered
gladly
anything
agreeing
relevant.
with my idea of the stone. How about are you a liar now or are you lying then?
We find ourselves in Dr. John Lucas's car.
Yes.
Melissa and Max are both extremely tired and will take disadvantage on most physical checks in the morning because they've been arguing all night.
Yes.
Chris and John, did you have a thing you're doing specifically? Or you're just
so
leaving?
Chris had left the room,
Yeah.
ran downstairs, and had the phone in hand, ready to call like the emergency number.
Yeah.
And she was waiting to hear shots.
And then at some point she sees him like stumbling through the lobby with a piece of the journal.
Right, and she doesn't say anything as he leaves.
You make eye contact, and then he leaves.
Okay, cool.
And John
And she really was thinking like, all right, he's gonna take the gun, and all three of them are gonna be dead. And I'm gonna call the police before he gets to me. That is literally the thought. And when
I'm
she
just.
didn't hear any shots. Well, she heard one.
It was just so confusing. She ran down there, got it, ready for that 911, waited for shots, none ever came. What?
Yeah.
He lined them up. He got them all with one. That man's efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melissa is so spent at the end of this. She's got nothing left.
Yep.
So,
So
John left the room, though. Did John have a thing, or is he good?
No, I'll probably passed out on the.
Perfect.
you just left the room where it's dangerous.
Or just like, I'm out. This is why I didn't show up until 4 p.m., guys. Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, honestly, Dr. John Lucas, probably the smartest character of all of us, is going to be the only one with any sanity left because he's been avoiding parts of this.
And we find ourselves all in Dr. John Lucas's car on the way to the party. At about 1 p.m. the next day, Melissa and Max are going to take disadvantage on most constitution or strength-based things because they've been up all night arguing with each other.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
We are approaching the gate of the grounds, which is open, unlike the first time you got here, if you remember, where you had to like prove that you had a right to be here. And it's open, and you see the same orderlies, and they recognize you, and they look super pissed off as you drive past them.
I wave.
Hold on. In this morning, if they told me about the rock and the orderly and all that kind of stuff, I assume that they updated me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
You're
the one who needs to know this.
Yes, I am going to secure my own chisel and rock and my own picture of the thing because I don't know if he has actually completed chiseling this thing, but I'm going to prepare to work on this rock if I come across it.
Yes.
Okay.
As we drive past the checkpoint,
yeah,
I have a mania. I very purposely raise my camera and lower the window and take a snapshot
I love it.
of them as we drive by.
I love it. Gain 1 sanity.
What?
Gain 1 sanity for interacting with your mania appropriately.
Oh,
You've got
I
all these
also-
orderlies with their eyes on you. You're like, oh, that's like 10
Oh
eyes.
man, it's just-
And I wave him like,
Also,
thanks,
there's,
guys.
Also, right before we left, I gathered up my resume. The mayor.
I no longer have my pistol.
I love it. You no longer have your pistol?
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
Can Melissa say she grabbed that pistol?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's fine. And John has his resume. And we all are like, this is the flashback of the night as we're driving up to Danvers State Hospital where Jackson Elias is. We feel a finality is coming. As we were approaching, you see that you are not the first people here. Indeed, you didn't want to be. People have been here setting up for most of the morning. You drive up, and if you remember, there's that like circular driveway type thing, roundabout near the main entrance. You park. It's easy. And there is the main hospital directly in front of you at this point, and there's also the amphitheater and the lake. Remember, the grounds are surrounded by a giant fence, and there's a lot of grounds. The only things of interest are, like that you can see, like the only actual features of the landscape is the hospital, the path that goes to the amphitheater, the little man-made pond/lake that is directly next to the amphitheater, and also like a very small wooded area that's next to that pond, kind of like kitty corner to the amphitheater, but everything else is very open. And that little wooded area also is not near a fence. The orderlies and the security want to be able to see if people are trying to escape, so there's no obstructed lines of sight to the fence.
Gotcha.
As you're going, you are there at the main, but you also see that there's a group of people at the amphitheater. Some of them are orderlies, some of them are inmates, some of them are townspeople. You can see Frank is down there. You actually see Berger down there, and they have a podium, a pulpit, near the lake, presumably for Andrew McBride's family to speak at. What do you guys do?
The Peter told us that the rock would be near the lake, right?
That is a thing he said in his crazed manner, yes.
Yeah. So I guess I would want to check to see if that was there. While like, just kind of wandering around and enjoying the grounds, I guess.
Sure. Who has the
I would
keys?
I had
John.
the keys last.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So,
Let's see.
so we know that the rock basement, because that's what Peter said.
Say again, you got real batty for me. The rock what?
Sorry. We know that the rock was in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Peter said before he left.
Yes.
Presuming he was not successful in his task and maybe was driven to harm over the evening, which seems likely.
You're such a pessimist.
I walked in on a room where my friend had severed her own finger. That was her first interaction with this thing. I think it would be wise for somebody to check the basement.
Seeing how I have the most sanity, I'll
Well, let's have everyone roll spot hidden real quick,
Oh.
so I can help expedite some stuff.
I fail.
Woo!
Hey, there we go.
Did we get a success?
We got one.
We got
Yeah.
one success.
We got one success. Good job, Ethan.
I don't know why I always pass these, but
Well, it's because as you're panning around with your camera, just
Yeah.
taking a bunch of photos,
I
you
want
notice
the eyes, man.
you're closer to the main entrance, but you walked a little bit away from that to try to get like a landscape view of the amphitheater and the crowd from far away.
Right?
And the amphitheater and the lake and all of that, which are like right next to each other, the closest entrance to that is through a side entrance. So you walked kind of near-ish that with your camera as you're taking photos of things, and you saw that there is a strange depression coming from the side entrance towards the amphitheater.
How far away am I from it right now?
Oh, like you had to walk like a ways, like 30 feet away from the main entrance. So I'm gonna say like 10 to 15 feet, not far.
Sure, let's do it. I'm gonna go check it out.
Sure, you walk over to the side entrance, not necessarily the door, but the area near it, and you see it's one of those things where like the blades of grass are shifted, so you gotta like
Right.
move your head to have the grass catch light differently, and you can tell that there is a I want to say about like 1.5 foot wide depression.
Circular?
Uniform, not circular, but it goes down towards the amphitheater.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's like a groove. Like
Yeah, like a groove.
Okay, so I'm going to casually follow this. I assume this is not a terrible idea.
No, there's tons of people at the amphitheater.
Okay,
We're
so
here
I'm
for a
just
good time.
walking to follow this depression.
Sure. What are the rest of you doing?
I guess following.
Yeah, going to head over to the crowd?
Where was the mayor and doctor at?
They're down at the amphitheater. There's a ton of people down there, so it's not like they're there
While
alone.
they're doing that, I'm gonna go talk to the good.
Cool.
And hand over my resume.
So,
Whatever distraction.
so everybody else, John, I'll get to you in a second. You all together follow the depression through the grass, and it goes past the amphitheater. And it continues in the direction around the lake towards the wooded area. And the rest of you can follow that if you'd like. Well, John stops here and goes and talks in the amphitheater.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to do.
Cool. John, at this point, like, walks up to the mayor, and there's tons of people around. There's people like rocking their heads because, they are still mental patients. But there's you see McBride's family who are clearly sad, and people are talking to them a lot. But you find Frank Salazar, and you'd like to talk to him really quick.
How you doing, Mayor? How you doing, Frank? Can I call you Frank?
You may, John. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, sir. I have walked the grounds of this fine establishment, and I have some papers here. This would be my resume, sir.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
See
here.
Very, very interesting. He takes your resume and trifolds it. I am very interested in looking at this, but as another time, perhaps later today, and he puts it in his coat.
Sir, if you mind, I would like to have some discussion. I do have to get back to. We came out of New York City, right?
Sure. Arkham somewhere.
Yeah, Arkham. And I do have to get back to my practice, but you know what? I would actually like to come and help this place out. I think I read Shine's papers, and I found it mighty fascinating.
Well, that's good to hear.
It seems that things have taken a downturn, as we can see, trying to celebrate this young man's life who was lost here.
It is a sad thing, and sometimes it just happens. But either way, here, let me have you talk to Berger. And he motions Berger over. Except I was going to cut off there, but it seems like some people. Ben, you good? It looked like you muted yourself for a second.
Ben's
Yeah,
not.
I muted myself because a roommate was talking to me.
No
Ben's-
worries. And then
Well,
Chris
Nikki was
left.
talking to me specifically.
Max or Dave will be here in just a second, so we'll continue with John. So Berger comes over. And you remember him. He is unhappy. And it's the three of you standing in a strange little triangle, and he goes, Hello, Mr. Salazar. It is a kindness of you to put this on. I would have appreciated more notice, though. Nonsense! Something like this needs to happen every once in a while, especially when it's a beloved member of the community like Andrew McBride. Don't you agree, John?
I do. Absolutely. I have a big Chester Cat smile on.
And then Berger looks at Frank. I feel as though there's a conflict of interests because he was here earlier. And then Frank looks at Berger and then looks at you. I was not aware that you visited the hospital recently, John.
On my own. I've heard great things about this hospital. And so I decided to leave my cohorts behind and decided to venture up here on my own.
Berger goes, On your own. Yes, that is how it is when you travel with three other people. Where are they? You three are going towards the wooded area.
Yes.
It's not like a forest. It's got like some shrubbery and like some hedges. It's mostly like decoration behind the pond sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as you each roll up that way, I need everyone to roll me a sanity check.
I'm still temporarily insane, or no?
Bet.
Yes, you are.
I'm so sane all the time. Wait, yo, we got 2 extreme successes.
Oh, I didn't need one from Casey.
Oh, okay.
No, it's good. Ethan loses 1. David and Ben, you each roll a d2 and lose that many.
I just gained 1.
Which means that I need to turn this one on.
I didn't put the slash.
Here we go.
Webcam.
I lose
insane.
2. I'm down to 66.
You'll gain yourself a Cthulhu Mythos point because you have another bout of madness.
Gosh.
Yeah, man.
And don't forget, I have a gun.
And you
Those
have a
are
gun.
those are hard fought.
So as you guys approach the wooded area, Melissa, the first to see it, just lets out a scream, faints, and drops straight to the floor. The ground lands in the grass because you find this huge semicircular kind of disc-ish shape of stone that has been rolled, presumably from the side entrance, and has been rolled to this area, and on top of it, you can see the half-finished image of the symbol that you need to make, and it is presumably half-finished because Peter is lying on top of it with a chisel shoved into his chest.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I am moving and hiding the body because, I mean, if they find us with it, it's just as bad if they find me hiding the body. So,
well,
I'm gonna see to Melissa.
so
while he
really
does
quick,
that.
good. That's good. But really quick, Melissa, lets out a shriek of terror before she faints, and that happens at the same time as, no, you visited with 3 other people. Where are they? Ah! From across the pond.
very loud. Okay.
Yeah.
How long might it take them to reach us?
A few seconds. It's not terribly far.
Oh, okay.
At worst, a minute or 2 if it takes them a second to figure out where we are.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's gonna.
then I'm not hiding the body. Okay.
Yeah, I would say leave it. Let's just both tend to her.
Okay. Well, she's unhurt. She's just out of it for a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it's better for them to come on the scene while we're away from the disc.
So you're dragging Melissa away?
Yeah.
No. Like I assume that she did this when she first saw it, so we're not like on the disc.
Yes, correct.
Right. So like we are paces away, and they come up to this scene.
Yep.
While we are tending to her.
I have my camera in hand, and I'm casually getting some shots for the paper, of course.
So John is talking and says, "Where are they? Ah, what was that?" And then a bunch of people rush over. Chris and Max are like making themselves look shocked and unexpectant of all of this as a small crowd forms behind you, and inside of that is a couple orderlies that you remember, but Berger and Frank Salazar as well. And they come up behind you, and then they go, "What has happened here?"
Right. and Chris says, "I was hoping someone could tell me why there's a dead body in these woods."
I, as a doctor, will go and just, I know he's probably dead looking at it, but, try to look good. I'm going to go check for a pulse.
Sure. He's super dead.
Super dead.
He's super dead. He's got that chisel, because remember, chisels aren't pointed. And he's got that chisel like shoved in between his ribs.
Ooh.
And Frank turns to Berger. "Seems to be a lot of accidents happening up here, Berger. What's going on?" And then Berger looks frustrated and says, I will go call the authorities now and make arrangements." And he leaves headed towards the asylum.
Berger, before he leaves.
Yeah.
Why didn't you make arrangements when your inmate passed?
McBride, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, when McBride passed, with like his family there and everything like that. Right? She's just gonna call him out in front of everybody before he gets
the
to leave.
crowd literally parts as crowd like turns around and looks at you. The family was notified, as is procedure.
Does procedure include how many days was it? Looking at the family.
Oh, they didn't tell us until a couple days. We learned in the paper, and at this point, we feel a despair coming over the crowd.
Right.
A statement had to be prepared. It is unfortunate that people with big noses got in the way before then.
Sorry, no. What is she gonna say? She's gonna say, big noses. Who was visiting your asylum after he passed? Are you somehow incapable of notifying next of kin? What is the phone call you're about to make for this man's family? Are you calling them? I think not. I think you are unfit for your station, sir.
Frank,
I think you should
Frank
be removed
saddles
immediately.
I think that we have an excellent applicant to take over St. Danvers at this point. Like, even though people feel good that they're like coming over Berger, like there's an outcry, like, but it's stressful. And then we begin to feel like a breeze, and the hedges begin to shift a little bit. You don't know how difficult it is to run this place. There are people in the asylum right now who aren't allowed out here, and half of the people that Frank wants out here can't come out here for your safety. It seems that there is a good reason for safety. Look behind you.
I'm not going to look behind me. I'm going to say, it seems you are unfit for your station and are in over your head. And she's trying to keep the attention on him and not let a bunch of people look behind them.
Max is conveniently blocking some line of sight as he's had stepped forward to take photos.
And I will be walking up to the mayor and be like, sir, if you review now, I think it.
He puts his hand on your shoulder. I appreciate the ambition. Truly, I do. Whitmore has none. But either way, he should make the call. Let's try to have something, and we'll call the police. We're going to call the police, right, Berger? And Berger, like, is staring directly at Chris and says through clenched teeth, yes, I'm calling the police.
Dude, he's lying, right? Like, does
you can roll psychology. Yes, roll psychology.
Okay.
Oh, can I roll psychology?
Everyone here can roll psychology.
Damn it.
Even me having a bout of madness.
Oh, yeah, you're fainted.
Oh my god.
It's so terrible. So terrible.
Hey!
There we go.
It appears that he is going to call the police with great duress and lots of struggle. He will. It looks like.
Right.
Here,
So I'm going to pause because we're doing this relatively cinematically, and my question is, what is the general plan to try to get Elias? Because we have this festivity going on, which is cool.
Right. I think we have keys, and I think that we are going to use this kerfuffle to get Elias out with those keys.
Yeah,
There's a
that seems the
highest
most likely thing.
Out of character, I assume somebody would like follow Berger with the keys. And,
Yeah.
like,
That's kind of what I'm assuming is going to happen, right?
yeah.
Right.
But like
I
I'm passed
assume-
out, so I don't want to.
Right.
There's no chance to finish the stone now, especially with all the attention it has.
Actually,
But
I
you
think that the press amongst us, you, and the man with the keys, John, should follow Berger, because John needs to understand the operations of the hospital anyway, since he's about to take over, and press is interested in being a part of this whole story as it unfolds.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Right.
up to the mayor and be like, "Hey."
And while you two are doing that, Chris is going to finish the stone.
Yeah, pull attention away.
Yeah,
And Melissa
that-
at some
that-
point's gonna wake up in a bout of madness and fuck everything up.
You're actually
I-
safe. This is your bout of madness.
What's that?
Yeah, your fainting is your bout of madness.
Anyways, I got many pictures of the body, of course, and
Sure
I
did.
turn away, walk up to John and the mayor, and I'm like, I don't suppose we could attend with Dr. Berger to give our dear friend a good tour of the inner workings of the facility he may be soon employed in. And of course, this is quite a breaking story, sir.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's all go up. So then
absolutely.
Frank, Berger, John, and Max, Frank, Berger, John, Max, the 5 of you start going up to the hospital.
Here, I do need to be right back, though.
Oh,
right.
damn.
All right, and
Tell
I'm going to tell everybody, we should probably leave the woods alone, since this is now
I'm a nurse, let me tend to Melissa.
yeah, exactly. Let's give Melissa some space. Let's, be respectful of our departed here, and everyone please, go back to the amphitheater.
Which is good because it's semi hidden. A lot of people didn't
Right.
see a good image. They just know something bad happened.
Right, yeah. And then if they leave, when they leave, I'm shoving that body off that rock and I'm finishing that fucking emblem.
Yeah. So then everybody goes back to the amphitheater. A lot of people are confused. Some of them are like, now there's rumors. Like, ooh, something's going on. And then Melissa is going to wake up groggy with her face in the grass, look up and see that Chris has shoved a body off of the rock and is just carving the symbol using the chisels that she has extracted from his body. Roll sanity.
No, I brought my own.
You brought your own. You're a geologist. You're good.
Yes. I said so earlier.
I'll roll sanity.
I'm sorry. There's a lot. Good job. So let's try this again. Berger, Frank, John, and Max, the 5 of you, are walking up to the asylum and they enter into the main entrance, and a lot of you are going up to his main office. It smells very clean and sterile, as always. And when you get into the office, there's been a little bit of chit-chat between Berger and Frank, mostly just really tense back and forth. But when you get up there, the picture of Saint George and the dragon, it had the dragon winning against Saint George, but it was still in a fight. The picture is now there is no Saint George, and the dragon is above its cave, just peering directly out of the picture as Berger picks up the phone and dials 911. What's everybody doing?
I'm walking around. Is he in his chair?
I think he's standing next to his desk.
I get a great shot of him looking very angry into the phone.
When you take a picture of him, he turns around and puts his back to you and his elbow on the desk. And then Frank is going around the office looking at all of his accreditations and checking them against your resume.
Sir, if you mind,
Sorry, speak up.
what was the mayor's name?
Frank Salazar.
Yeah, Salazar.
I think I'll Frank. I think I'm gonna go down the halls, get a good look at the patient, start drawing up something that some treatments from down south that might be able to work.
What patient? The one from... I'm confused. What patient do you mean?
Oh, the patients.
The patients.
Silent patients.
As I'm looking at your resume and considering the situation, I think that's a good idea. Don't go anywhere that's going to cause any trouble right now because, you don't run this place yet, but...
Understood.
Go ahead.
Salazar is a man of power. He knows when to wield it.
And then he like as he's leaving, Salazar like his big plump frame leans on the desk trying to get inside of Berger's vision and goes, "It's not even an election year."
I take a photo. At that exact moment, the camera snaps.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, that's a good photo. We'll come back to Max and Melissa and Chris. Chris, I see that you got a hard success.
Yes, on my geology to try and mark up this stone in an effective way.
So normally you'd have to roll Artcraft
Oh, yeah, that's
for
true.
something like that, but because this is a hard success, I'm actually really okay with that since your medium is the rock.
Awesome.
So
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Do you have the image or are you going off of memory?
I think she still has his journal, which had the image on the back cover, right?
Yeah, it had more than
Specifically
just
said
the
he was
one page.
bringing the image.
Because you gave him a page. You gave Peter a page, and he doesn't have that page here.
Right, but I
Right.
think he was right. I think it was like embossed with the image as well.
Right.
Yeah,
I thought the
cool.
journal had it embossed.
It did.
Okay.
I'm just double checking. Cool. And then that works with the hard success as well. You have rendered the image the best that you believe you can. And
Right,
you are
yeah, she's like,
relatively confident.
I mean, it's not quite symmetrical, but I'm a geologist, not a artist.
A mason.
Right. Yeah, I'm none of those things. So cool.
As John exits the room, and then Frank says that to Berger, it's not even an election year. No one is near the door, and yet it closes. And at that point, Berger slams the phone down, and he reaches over and he opens up his desk drawer and he pulls out his own letter opener. "I will not be usurped here. These troublemakers, they don't even know what they're doing, and neither do you, you fat fuck." And he starts approaching Frank, and Frank is now disarmed. What are you doing, Max?
Melissa has a gun.
Melissa's outside.
Well, I'm outside.
Yeah,
This is-
Max.
And John just left.
You're in
Max.
here alone
Yeah, you're
with
the
a
only
psycho
investigator
and
here.
his monster.
What are you doing? Yeah, it's you, Max. It's you, Frank, and Salazar. There's 4 people in the room.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Okay.
There's 3 people in the room and potentially a dragon.
Anyways, what's immediately at hand here?
Describe to me something.
Camera.
Yeah, you've got a camera. I don't know. What's in a desk? What's in an office?
Oh my god, I've got a iron cross that can definitely be used as a weapon.
He pulls out his iron cross.
No. But I probably suck at that. Is that fight brawl with that thing?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. He's a doctor. How good could he be at fight brawl? He's not one of the orderlies that kick our asses.
He's about as thin as John.
Anyways,
So what are you doing?
I'm gonna die. I step up to the plate to defend the mayor here.
Are you
I
gonna?
immediately try to crack him across the face with this thing.
So he's approaching Frank with a small knife, and then you're just going for him.
I'm just gonna try and blindside him.
Excellent.
Advantage?
Can you roll luck?
Oh. Oh no.
Oh, wait, could you spend some luck to gain the luck?
Can
to
I?
roll?
Not in this case.
Okay.
Spending luck to use luck is weird. This is a luck check. So you take out your iron cross. I think of it more as a crucifix because it gives more weight to the top end, you know? And you are approaching him. Now, something that you had not noticed before, but makes a lot of sense, is that he has this large, beautiful rug in his office. And after the door shut, but no one was there to shut it, somehow this beautiful rug got a lump in it, and you catch your foot on it as you're going towards him, which brings you down to the floor. Frank, or Berger at this point, changes targets and goes to stab at you. What would you like to do? Fight back or dodge?
I'd like to try to take his feet out from under him because I'm at his feet. I can break his ankle.
Sure. Give me a fight brawl.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Oh, Mama needs a new pair of shoes.
Yeah!
Oh, first win. Oh.
Oh, no. He wins because he's
Wait. Oh, it's combat.
It is combat. You rolled great. However, he gets to fight back. So you're gonna lunge at him, but the fourth person in the room trips you. You fall to the ground, and Berger is going to go stab at you. You go for his legs, but he fights back. I need you to take.
We just hit each other then?
No, because you tried to do a maneuver which wouldn't cause damage, but he fights back with a knife, so he's just gonna hit you.
Oh wow.
Take 3 points of damage as he sinks it into your shoulder and drops to his knees, sinks it in, raises up. Frank, at this point, looks around the office. What are some other improvised weapons that are in an office, guys?
There's got to be a vase or a lamp,
Clock.
chair.
A beautiful decorative sword.
How about a giant painting of a dragon?
He's got one of those retiree. He's got one of those retiree clocks from his previous job before he took over here. Frank grabs it and goes to clobber Berger upside the head. And since he has already acted, he doesn't get to do either of those things. You were super fast in the order. So let's see how he did. 76. Not great. He grabs the clock, but it's clumsy, and he goes to hit you and hit him, and he just misses. Berger blocks it. What are you doing, Max?
Jeez, this sucks.
He has to have
I'm
a
just
bust
trying to
of,
understand the
Floyd,
combat
too, right?
system. So
When
he can block my maneuver and stab me at the same time.
Yes.
That was okay.
Just to move this along, because it's almost midnight. What are you doing?
Shit. I'm gonna try to disarm him. Can I try to disarm him?
Sure, fight brawl.
That's currently my best bet.
Probably.
Oh my fuck. That's the second time I rolled in 100 today.
I know.
That's actually super shitty.
That's crazy.
I don't see my roll. Hold on.
Let me roll power.
He's just a doctor. He rolled really well last time. Great. So you try to disarm him, and then he takes up his blade and he goes to stab at you, but you've both kind of entered this grab each other's hand sort of thing, because he's just a wimp little doctor.
It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I take his hands very gingerly with my 100.
Oh, I see. All right.
Does the mayor get to?
Yeah, the mayor is going to attempt to go at it. What are the rest of you doing outside during all of this combat? Oh, the mayor's
I'm
badly.
on my way down. What's his? The guy we.
You are quiet. Speak up, please.
He's going to Jackson Elias.
Got it.
I'm going to Jackson Elias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His job is freeing Jackson at this point.
His job is to win us the game, while the rest of us
gonna win.
Other than win the game.
Win the game. You are going through the hallways, and you remember how to get there. It wasn't terribly difficult. And as you, a lot of the orderlies are outside, so it is pretty easy to get to the specific wing, the specific ward that Jackson is in. However, that ward, which is deemed the most violent people, if you remember, is still guarded. So when you enter that ward, an orderly stands up next to the door who was sitting guard, and he looks at you and goes, "Who are you? Why are you here?"
I'm your new boss, sir. Berger has been replaced. My name is John.
Tell him that Peter's dead.
John Lucas, sir.
We
We also just discovered that one of your dear colleagues murdered. Think about that?
I feel like he doesn't know how to react. So, what?
Order has been replaced. I am your new boss.
But I haven't been told that yet. And
The mayor's finalizing it right now in the office as we speak. Go up and check. They should be almost done with the paperwork right now.
I need you to step out of this ward, and I will go do that right now.
Absolutely.
You step out of the ward, he turns around, and he locks that door, and he starts running towards the main office. In the main office, Max, who is in a struggle with Berger, does...
I shout at the mayor to call. I don't know. I shout at the mayor to help me here, and I again try to disarm him.
He picks up the clock again. I'm trying!
I have an idea when it gets to us outside.
Wop, wop.
Yeah, that'll happen in just a second. Go ahead and give me that fight.
I did.
Oh, I see. Ooh, it's a good one, too. And let's see how Berger does. Probably.
One.
He should be rolling poorly. He's not.
Oh, thank God.
All right. So you're trying to disarm him, cut him? What are you doing? Tell me what you do.
I'm trying to get this weapon away from him.
You do. Tell me how you do it quickly.
So I'm coming up from the ground. I grab this man, pull him down towards me, and get my other elbow straight in his face. And with that, flash of pain, I snatch the knife out of his hand.
Perfect.
Back to try to get distance.
I feel like the knife goes flying, and then Frank runs over and grabs the knife. Because you have your cross.
Yeah, okay.
And Frank grabs the cross. Frank grabs the knife. At which point, you hear a banging on the door from outside. I'll get to Chris and Melissa in just a second. What is John doing?
As soon as I saw the order, I unlocked the door.
You do?
I immediately head to the to his cell.
There's weak, emaciated, just stringly, mostly bone and skin arms reaching out of the doors that are trying to grab at you, and you run down. Remember, this one has no light, and you run over to where Jackson Elias's cell is, and you presumably open it.
Yep.
You open it, you hear the loud echoing as now the rest of the people here are screaming for you to let them out as well. Roll sanity, please.
Come on, I've had some good luck today. Please.
I believe.
Fuck.
No.
That's okay, just lose 2.
Alright, cool.
As you are about to leave the rest of these people here, and you open the door to Jackson Elias. Jackson Elias, who has become weak and thin, small. Well, he's an average sized man, but he looks small. African American man comes out, looks at you, and goes, "I remember you. Are we leaving?"
You are, sir. You're leaving.
He tries to take a step, and he's too weak.
Alright, I cradle him and
Yep.
I start helping him out as quickly as possible.
You start running, and you leave the others behind. Upstairs, Max and Frank now have Berger subdued, or at least disarmed, and you can see behind his glasses that his eyes are starting to shift as the banging on the door. Berger! Someone says they took over? Berger! Melissa and Chris, what are you guys doing at this point? It's been a while.
So I need to clarify. So we need to move this stone from point A to point B, is our understanding?
That is your current understanding.
Yeah.
And can Chris do that on Chris's own?
She probably needs help getting it lifted so it can roll.
Yeah, but after we do that, Chris can roll it at that point?
Yes. With effort, yes.
So,
Yeah, I'm not a strong orderly, so I mean,
but it's also a round disc, so I'm thinking it's not that hard to move once we get it going.
Yeah,
it's in the
exactly.
woods is my thinking. It's probably stuff in the way, so she has to stop and turn it to get it around a thing and then back.
But once you're on track, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
The hardest part is getting it up.
Yeah.
I want to help Chris get it on track, and then I have something to do after that.
That would take some rolling, but I mean, you would eventually get it. The most interesting part about that is that you find some of Peter's fingernails in the side of the disc. But you do get it up on its side.
Okay.
Gross.
I don't know if Chris has anything supposed to do, but what Melissa wants to do at this point is Melissa wants to draw the entity out of the asylum
Right.
because she kind of figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
But Melissa's already kind of like ruined a lot of her own emotional state.
Yeah.
And so I think in Melissa's somewhat still rational mind, the only thing she can do to provoke that strong of emotion is to put herself in mortal danger. So she's going to go for a swim, and she can't really swim. And she's going to basically start drowning and use the emotional terror and despair from that. Try to draw it in.
So this scene that I'm seeing is like Melissa helps Chris get it up on the side and then start rolling it, and Melissa's like, "Hold on, I have an idea. Keep going." And Chris is like, "Okay." And when Chris is not looking, yeah,
But
and then
Chris is gonna hear you splashing in the water.
yes,
well, I'm not. I'm gonna try to like. So she's intentionally doing this. So she's like going under, like she's just kind of stepping in and going under, like semi, gracefully. Because she's just kind of letting herself sink, and then she's like, as the air runs out, that's when she'd start to panic, right? That was what I was thinking.
That makes sense, and that's fucked up. And
she's like whispering to herself, just kind of like nonsense stuff at this point, because she's like trying to like conjure up like all these emotional things that she still has.
I feel like Melissa is trying to spare Chris the image of seeing her do this.
Right.
When does Chris become aware that this is happening?
I don't want Chris to draw the attention of the entity. I'm trying to draw the entity's attention away from Chris and away from the asylum.
So we'll say that as you're rolling it, you become aware that Melissa is not with you, and you when you round the hedge of the pond, you can see that she's swimming out into the middle of it.
Melissa has the most sanity out of all of us.
Maybe at the start.
No,
are you upset with this, Dave?
Biggest number.
I've been steadily throwing it down that toilet.
Chris is. Let's see here.
I'd like to make a swim check at the end of this to try to not drown, because once I panic, I don't think I have a choice of trying to just intentionally drown, right?
Yeah, Chris is probably confused at first, so she's gonna shout to you, Melissa, what are you doing? While she continues to roll the thing towards the destination. Because it's not immediately obvious that she is putting herself in danger. It's confusing right now. Okay. It sounds like.
I think Melissa would try to like wave and give a thumbs up, like
sure,
half-heartedly what she can do. I think that's all she could really communicate in her current situation anyway.
Okay. Then yeah, Chris is going to continue, but she's going to stay mindful and watching.
Chris is rolling the disc over to the amphitheater, presumably where Shine and McBride had installed it in the first place. Melissa is swimming out into the middle of the lake and then will submerge herself. Is that correct?
Yes. My roommate's about to use the blender, so I'm going to mute myself. So.
Yes. And then as she is submerging herself, Max and Frank, who are dealing with Berger, he has been disarmed, and then some of you caught it before, the four of you in that room, you now feel there are three, and Berger like looks at you as if he has just met you, like, what's going on? And then collapses. The door opens and there is a orderly going on, what's going on? And then sees Frank, and Frank looks at John and John's not here. Frank goes, Berger's not okay. Somebody take him away. And as Melissa is submerging herself down into the lake,
Chris begins screaming.
Yes, that makes sense. She begins screaming. The lake is muddy and much deeper than you thought it was. And it would be very difficult to see down here if it wasn't for the fact that there is a large orange eye looking up at you from the bottom of the lake. And it does that like Jurassic Park open squint as you feel the water around you start to move and suck you in deeper. At this point, while Chris is screaming, Dr. John Lucas bursts out of the main entrance carrying Jackson Elias and throws him into the car and starts punching the horn.
Yep.
Melissa feels the water getting heavier and more pressure as she begins to get squeezed, as Chris screams and rolling the rock and then manages to throw it down onto where Andrew was. The onlookers are like, what's going on? You're acting weird. At which point the water lets up. The eye opens and it's got like that sideways pupil that then opens circular, almost in surprise. As the water stops swirling around you, it comes to a rest.
Chris is jumping into the water. If the rock is in its spot, she is going in after Melissa.
Chris jumps in. What you doing, Max? Berger's passed out. Frank's there, confused, and the orderly's running to get help for Berger.
Oh, for Berger or for?
For you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you hear the horn being punched outside, right?
Everybody hears the horn. Everybody hears the horn.
Oh, I want to get the hell out. I'll be honest.
I don't blame you.
I look at the mayor.
Say again.
I look at the mayor and I say, "God bless you. I'm leaving." I move to the door very rapidly, but I pivot on my foot and turn, and I snap a photo of the scene within, and I run out of the asylum.
Chris, sorry, I skipped a thing because we're trying to go fast.
Yes.
Melissa would have lost sanity at any point, which would have resulted in her screaming, which would have resulted in her breathing water. But Chris jumps in, and I'm happy. There's no, oddly, no contention with you going down to grab her.
Awesome.
What's your swim?
The swim is 53.
You fucking
Good, 'cause
that you got it.
Mine is 20, so I don't think I'm a helpful person for getting myself.
People who are drowning are typically not helpful. They are the opposite of helpful.
I was a
Yeah, so is this like a
lifeguard,
post swim check to see like?
No. No. As long he's got a 50, he can go down there and grab you because there's nothing
Now,
stopping
when I
him.
start to go down, is there this giant orange eye looking up at me?
You think you saw some light in the bottom, but the bottom is dark, and you like as if the eye had just shut.
Okay.
And the bottom is dark, and in that last little bit of light coming from the orange eye, you see Melissa's silhouette just kind of floating halfway down.
What the? I mean, Chris is freaked out, obviously. And she's just going to do all she can to get to Melissa and grab her and pull her to the surface.
You do so. You grab her by the waist. Max runs downstairs, sees John and Jackson. Chris rises to the surface with Melissa, who will need CPR. And and as you break the surface, you hear the horn being punched.
Awesome.
And then I assume everyone makes it to the car.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably pull her onto the surface and try and revive her now.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she
Yeah.
should be breathing when we get to the car.
Exactly. Like, Max has the door open as they're driving it to the amphitheater, and all the people watching in McBride are like, what's going on? But, like, the general frustration that has always permeated this place seems to be receding a little bit, maybe? But then over time, Melissa is going to breathe air and then be drug into the car, and everyone escapes this place. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
working myself down like 15 sanity. Does that sound about right?
When everyone finally gets home and have gone their separate ways, Max finally develops that last picture he took of the inside of Berger's office. And Berger is on the ground. Frank is sweating bullets because he's never exerted himself so much.
Oh, he's
And-
got the giant pit stains.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He took off his coat at one point, and you see the suspenders, and the giant portrait of Saint George and the Dragon has changed into its more normal self, with George killing the dragon with his lance. The way you've always remembered it, except now the dragon is always looking at you, Max.
Max sits in his room, a nice apartment in the depths of New York City. He tucks it into the drawer of his nightstand, shuts it, and goes to bed. Good night.
Good night, sweet prince.
Good night, dear friends.
Everyone gets to roll a d8 and gain that much sanity. Everyone gets to roll a d4 and gain that much sanity. Everyone gets to roll a d8 and gain that much sanity and a d6. You did everything. So 1d8,
Or a D6 and a D8.
d4, d6, 2d8.
Oh. Whoops.
I'm not doing this. Is it an exclamation? Is
It's
it an
slash then roll then what you're
Oh
rolling.
lordy. 2d8. And then a d4.
Yep, and a d6.
12, 7, 19. Back up to 79 sanity.
Okay, so I'm at 9, 14, 15. So I'm at
What is it?
78.
Did you get any of them, Casey? I'll do it for you. Casey gets 2.
Yo, we
10.
We hit like all
11.
the check boxes.
Dr. John Lucas just gained 11 sanity. I got it for you.
Did Dr. John Lucas just get a new job?
Yes,
No,
so
no.
minor epilogue. As everybody is driving away, everybody, I don't care where you're sitting, except John Lucas is driving. Max is probably in the back because he was holding the door open. But Jackson Elias is thin. He looks gaunt, and he's in the center of the back seat, and he like lets his head back, and for the first time, you can see that he's resting in months, and he's like, "Oh, thank you. You're gonna be good friends."
Black.
Dr. John Lucas gets a new job. Maximilian puts his weird photo away. And tell me,
I've got plenty of photos. I've got a book to write. I've got a book right here.
you might want to talk to Elias.
Yeah.
And then Melissa and Chris, what are your epilogues?
There you go first.
I think Chris gives up geology and starts this newfound interest in paranormal investigation.
Oh, dude, she can hang out with Max.
Oh God, yeah.
She has seen something. She has come to know that there is more to this world than what she understood, and she defeated it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing that makes a junkie like an early win.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you talk to gambling junkies, they got an early win and they're hooked for life. And I think that Chris Parker, this early win,
I think
she's hooked, man.
I think Chris feels like she won because Melissa definitely lost.
Right? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Chris
no, for
did
sure.
not sacrifice like Melissa did. Chris saved Melissa whatever was left of her and feels great about it.
Yeah, you're the hero.
She feels great.
What
And, you know, Melissa probably would have maybe preferred that she got left behind.
How about you, Melissa? What's her epilogue? Did she get back with
well,
Joseph?
No, that's clearly she destroyed that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's no chance of that. I also think she'd have trouble going back to her day job because I think she's like haunted from this and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think she takes what she like, whatever like savings she has, and instead of like going back to work in the lab, she tries to do the only thing she can think of doing with everything she experienced. She tries to take up writing poetry, as like both kind of an homage to her past relationship with Joseph, and also just a way to deal with all the like despair and like weird dreams and stuff she's having since this incident. Like try to find some relief from them.
I
And I
would
think
like
she
very
writes under the
much.
pen name of like of M. Lytta, because Lytta was the last name of St. George.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I would like very much for Chris to stay in touch with Melissa.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
probably have frustration that Melissa is not better, right? Like,
Yeah.
I saved you. Why aren't you? You know, like, I love you and I want you to be well, and I'm visiting and we're spending time together. But there's probably always this sense of, yeah, but we got away. Why are
And
you
I
still like this?
and I think like I send you like my poetry, and some of it is like actually like kind of good, like the rare stuff. A lot of it's rough, some of it's kind of good, but some of it's just like insane ramblings. And like
Yeah.
I'm using you as like an editor to like filter it
So-
out, right?
Sweet.
I feel like Max, I mean, let's just intertwine them. At some point, we'll approach Chris and wish to get her part in the story. We have a publisher that's certainly willing to work with us.
Mm.
And eventually we'll proposition, after we get our first draft out, what our next book will be on.
He might
mean-
not want to work with me specifically because I insinuated that I had relations with him. I don't know if that's spread around town.
Wait, with
But
Max?
with the rest of you,
Yeah,
I
he's
think he'd be fine working with.
As part of her blowing up her life, she insinuated that she had relations with
Which
with
is why
our
I'm writing
publisher.
under a pen name
Oh,
send it in
okay.
through Chris, because
So-
I don't think he'd accept my work otherwise.
But
Thi-
eventually he'll look up at Chris and ask her, what's our next story?
We'll have to find out. Start reading the paper for oddities. I don't know.
And then you come across an article about the Carlisle expedition.
Yes,
that's what I was
going to say, to Egypt, the Egyptian expedition.
And then this started late and it ended late. What did Max do that we really liked, that we want to see more of? What was awesome about this? Let's do some really quick wrap up.
Mm.
I like that your photography was always relevant.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked Max trying to control that scene with the gun, and it slowly getting out of hand. Like,
Yeah.
I really believed that whole situation with Max. He's like, I got the gun so that I could feel safe, and then I started to feel safe, and then I seriously stopped feeling safe.
Guns work on rational people.
Yeah.
I like
That was a good
Melissa
scene.
could rely on arguing with Max no matter what the hell is going on.
So I want to go and jump onto yours right now. I love it when I was like, are you lying then or are you lying now? And you're like,
I actually didn't hear part of what you said, so like me was
Aw.
confused because I got my setup cut out for a second there. It worked, so I was fine with it.
as we go through this, I want to talk explicitly to the chat and say also chime in on what you really liked from these guys. Anything else for Max, guys? All right,
Never mind.
Dr. John Lucas. Casey, you started late, but you came in and it was good.
Hell
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody.
I really dug I really dug like John going in and getting a job at the place and like and just winning with a smile, man. Like, nope, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna get this is my place now. I'm
Yeah,
sorry to tell you, Dr. Burgess, but you're already on the outs, so it's whatever.
You know, it's not that John won, it's that Berger just refused to not lose.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That was 100% unexpected, and I loved every moment of it.
That was great.
I loved
Yeah,
John
no.
coming in when he did because it worked out for his character.
Yeah.
For him, and he played coming into a complex situation that I and the rest of the table had forced upon him, and he handled that very well.
Yeah, that was actually great. You jumped in the middle, like, perfectly. Not just your timing, but you did really good too. So good job.
I really like handled the man coming in with his hit. Um,
Oh yeah, with Eli.
Getting the syringe out, then stumbling out in the hall and passing out.
Oh,
his
that was a
timing,
bad
Eli, was
fumble.
really good.
Timing.
Yeah.
How about Dave, who played Chris? What did we like? What was awesome? What are we thankful for Dave for?
Winning the game.
The second
Temporarily
mission
winning the game. This is the
getting
second part of the game.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys like if this were a video game, putting the stone in is not expected and is like extra hard mode. So that was cool.
Also,
Go ahead.
I really like Melissa just totally charming the shit out of the mayor.
That was fun.
Chris. Oh yeah,
Chris
yeah,
Terman,
yeah,
the mayor,
yeah.
yes.
It was really fun to do that. That was so fun to do.
That was really cool.
I like Chris because consistently in this session and in the others was just a good, like, kind of straight man character who was like accepting of what was going on but wasn't like whole hog into it and like acting in character with good reason but was also altruistic, and like we needed that in the group, so that was good.
Yeah, what I liked about Chris is that Chris didn't necessarily feel like she believed what was going on. Like, it wasn't like, I'm a believer. It's just, this is what's happening. This is what we're dealing with.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a geologist, like geologists do see really weird things. And like the rock that she brings, the Wissahickon schist that she has with her.
Yeah.
It really is a super strange rock. Because when you dig it out of the ground, you can literally pull it out with a shovel. You could get a shovel in and cut out the rock. And then it turns into iron.
That's weird.
So like they run into weird things. Like, I don't understand this, but that's how it is. And I was like, she should be accepting of weird shit.
That's really cool.
Yeah, just like weird shit happens to them, and they're like, all right, well, clearly it's happening. I don't understand it. Well, we'll work with it. So that's kind of where I based her, was that she never really believed, but she never really was in denial either about the thing.
What about Ben playing Melissa?
Oh,
Well, I mean, what not to say? Holy smokes!
Descent into insanity.
Yeah,
but like with purpose. That was the cool part.
Yes. Like,
yeah, just for me coming in and trying to figure it out, I figured out very quickly, like, oh, things have gone very awry.
It's Melissa's fault.
Melissa was the agent of Melissa's own destruction.
So I think it was Melissa. Like, obviously Melissa did. I mean, that scene that you described was awesome. Like, I was really like, there were chills and everything while you were talking about her unraveling her life in a violent way. But also, Melissa was the one that got the orderly to understand, because he was not gonna kill us, right? We'd gotten to that stage, but it was Melissa talking about her personal attachment now linking to this beast, and him saying, okay, no, there really is something there, and I'm terrified, but I think there's a thread here that might end this for everybody. And it was Melissa that really got him to do the thing that allowed us to complete the stone mechanism and get the keys, right? Because I mean, we got the keys, but
you paid $300 for the keys. But
he was going to take those keys back. He was going to kill all of us and get his keys back.
It's true.
What was going to happen.
It was true. He was going to murder you all until you put him down. That's the thing that I find often in Call of Cthulhu, is that people try to like rationalize with insane people. And I have a hard time, like me as a GM have a hard time with that, because it's like I want to talk to the people as an NPC, but also he's literally insane. You can't.
Which is
I was like
maybe a little out of character. I was like
say, in case that would like to like relay like a strange conversation we'd be having about our own insanity.
Can you start at the beginning? I didn't hear the first part.
Sorry.
I was like trying to think up strange babble, because if you were gonna make me role play with him to try to talk him down,
oh sure,
gonna have to like devolve into like semi-insane ramblings about what was going on.
That's fair.
That's good. Yeah, that was part of the reason why Chris left the room. I was like, all right, she's fought them before and lost. and tried to catch him and lost. She in her mind's like, this is already lost. I'm just gonna go call the police right now.
Yeah, that's what I was really hoping was happening. Was the police were going to show up? I didn't think I was going
Yes.
to talk him down.
And-
Luck was my only reason I succeeded in anything in any of these sessions, and I'm at 2 points.
Yeah.
And the last one is me. How did I do? What did you like? What did you not like?
I really liked how you played the mayor. Just
mayor was
jumping
fun.
in and out of these characters was fun.
Glad you
Yeah,
liked the
I've
mayor.
heard
I really liked the moment when you debated yourself because you were the mayor and Dr. Burgess. And I gotta say, most GMs that I've played with really don't carry that super well. So like to play two characters that are opposed to one another in a scene was really nice to see you like jumping from character to character. I knew exactly which character it was.
Mhm.
You know, like you were very clear about who was going after who and all that stuff. I thought that was a really good scene just from a GM watching another GM.
That's cool. Thank you. Which scene was that?
That was when we were all in the woods and Dr. Burgess was getting like held to task. Chris had done
Got it.
some
Yep.
stuff,
Got it.
but the mayor was like, the mayor was in. You know,
Chris was like putting fuel on the fire, and then the mayor was just going off, and it was great.
right? Yeah, that was good. That was really good. Like I think a lot of GMs struggle to like allow an NPC to hold another NPC to task because they want the players to do that effort. And we did, but like you like were in on Salazar's opposition to Dr. Berger, and Salazar was an active agent in that scene, and that was really cool to see.
Very cool.
I
Thank you.
really
Okay.
liked you finding the most obscure but reasonable things to ding us on, like the floaties in the water, and making that a now lifelong sanity check.
I like doing stuff like that. Thank you. Because if this game was all serious all the time, it'd be a drag.
Yeah. You need to relieve the levity so you can give us more tension than you're about.
Honestly, a lot of my camera work was trying to add in some comedic relief.
It worked though.
I hear you. I hear you, Casey. Speak up. What you got?
Personally, for me, I want to thank you how you handled my situation coming in out of nowhere.
Sure.
Me coming in late, I don't think a lot of GMs would have that kind of patience. Gameplay wise, for meeting the mayor, I felt like the mayor became my best friend. You really played that character very well. I enjoyed that character, and I'm really bummed out I didn't get to meet the character sooner. And overall, this was a very interesting introduction to Call of Cthulhu, and you've made it very pleasant.
Yeah.
I have two quick things, Rob. One, I liked when you described there was 4 people in the room very deliberately.
Thank you.
That was a very good touch you did, and you stuck with it. I liked that a lot. 2, I liked that you let me kind of go off with some of my insane scene ideas and played off it well and made sure that I didn't go too far off the range with it. I like that as well. But yeah, those are my 2 highlights.
Very cool. Well, I hope that you all really enjoyed Call of Cthulhu. It is my favorite role-playing game.
Yeah, it was super fun.
It is super cool.
Great.
Um,
I would love to do like a really in-depth game. That would be super cool.
this is supposed to be a one-shot, and it was
That's an in-depth game.
and it was almost 4 games. It was
It's
almost 4.
games.
Honestly, I'd love to keep the same party.
Literally. Let's see here. Just as a quick note. Everything with the mayor. Most of the things with the orderlies. All of the things with that wasn't just McBride talking to you directly. Everything about Joe's. Everything about earthquakes. Most of the asylum exploration, as well as the extra Peter Rock nonsense, all of that is not in the module.
No.
I figured the mayor was not in the module.
Uh,
I figured not because I was like, hey, let's do this. And you're like, no one's ever done that before. I was like, okay, that's probably all not in the module.
I think it worked out okay.
It worked great.
well,
Yeah, it was good.
Well. All right, folks, that is Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. This was Genius Loci. they manage to get Jackson Elias out, he will probably be very grateful. There's going to be a couple weeks of hiatus, especially because I'm going to consolidate some groups, and we're going to be moving to a bi-weekly thing no matter what. Weekly is not easy, so I'm going to make it easier for the rest of my players. Some of the people from both of the groups you're going to meet, and we're going to play more prologue adventures as we get ready for Masks of Nyarlathotep. But that's it for this one. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You can follow me here. You can go to my Discord, hit up my Twitter. Those are the best ways to stay in communication and updated with things.
Yes.
Last words, anyone?
It's a lot of fun, man. Thanks so much.
Oh, I have a
Thank you,
final roll to make.
Final roll to make.
I succeed.
It is an Ooga Booga roll, and he succeeded.
What?
With a 94 out of 95.
Good.
That's it for
So
me.
so close to failing it again.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.